Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
You are so, and it is so. Absolutely. Yeah, welcome to Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, and still waiting for word from Johnny to see if we're going to be doing any, what do you call that, video stuff. Yeah, I'm going to do that maybe tonight. I haven't heard anything since he mentioned that he wanted to shift it from Monday to Thursday, so, well, whatever. Anyway, it's all good. At least Ninja got to see the new top she got me for my birthday. It's gorgeous. Oh my god. I can see her nodding right now. Yeah, it is. It's very pretty. Thank you so much. It's gorgeous. And it's perfect. Purple and indigo and amethyst and gorgeous color. So there you go. We're going to have some fun. No, I mean, we're going to have some really good fun tonight. I had a little epiphany today. Well, I had this one before, but it kind of came in different ways today. And I did talk about it a little bit with Lisa on Critical Mass main show, main stage. I call it the main stage. I'm running the side stage here. Like a couple hours ago, I was on with her on her show. So thank you very much, Lisa. That was greatly appreciated. And definitely an hour is never enough for this piece. Promise. Yeah, I mean, I typically run it 3 hours. I run the clock right out most nights. Last night I was just hit the wall and really didn't give myself a chance to recharge over the last, well, I would never generally give myself a chance to recharge, but yeah, feel a whole lot better today. And of course, as soon as you clear your space, then the whispers of the wind get really, really, really loud. So, first thing I saw when I got to the computer this morning, and it was so very, very fitting in so many, many ways. I have to thank Bruce. I know who it is. His name's not Bruce. He's a good friend of mine. But anyway, he posted a link in the room and to me direct, and it was for the movie Olympus Has Fallen. And for those of you that walking this road for any length of time with us, you'll know exactly what that is saying. As soon as I see it, I know exactly what it's saying. And of course, the premise of this movie, which I did watch, that was my downtime. And that's the thing. I take downtime, and all I'm doing is looking for. I got to find something else, and that way I can share it in the show. And I put myself under a lot of pressure to keep bringing every single night new stuff. And tonight we're gonna have a little bit of fun. And I really do love it when you guys jump in. It's like this. Anyone that jumps in is technically and literally an interviewer. Because I always prefer to be interviewed. For me, there's more purpose to it because I'm serving in that way on a grander, concept than hosting, and I've done that for many years. So and I'm not just talking radio. I've done it most of my life, either hosting venues or fronting bands and what have you. So always the consummate host and forced to jabber and yabber on microphones that I really don't want to actually be talking on. It's very counter me as far as personality goes. I just assume, like I said, sitting back and observe and toss a tuppence in here and there and whatever. Allow people to grow into their own power. And obviously, the universe has trained me well to do what I do now. And that's all I see it as now. Here I am, the unwilling participant in terms of front row center, which is the perfect mirror. One of these days, we'll all get to hang out and in person, and you get a better handle on me, the real me. Not like I'm fake or anything. I'm a different zone when I'm not having to do this kind of stuff. But that's okay, I do this because, well, I can. I don't have to do it. I'm balanced out with I want to do it and I don't want to do it. I don't have to do it. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. I do it because I can. And I see a greater need. As much as I see the need within, I see the need without, you see. So that's my mirror. So obviously if I feel the need to learn, then obviously you guys, you beautiful tuned in beings, also are feeling that same energy. So we all hang out and show up here. But today's magic epiphany, this is a good one. I think you're really going to like this. It's going to help you along with the present concept. You see, that's the thing too. The universe walks us down the path. We just have to be willing participants to walk. And for many of us, myself included, taking that initial step into unknown territory. Well, it has the unknown, right? Yeah, you see, fear can only exist in unknown. It can't exist in all-knowing. So that is the defining factor here. And that's why that's the only tool that gets used against us in terms of controlling us. But I also thought, how do you instill that seed? How do you plant that seed in people? And I've been talking a lot about trust lately and how badly we trust ourselves. We've been so conditioned into groupthink and, really, anyway, groupthink to get away from the peer pressure. We don't like feeling the pressure of being outside, the group, if you will. This is a very standard program. That's why they have you in classrooms and schools, and when you put your hand up and get singled out to answer a question, it doesn't always feel good when you don't get the right, the answer they're looking for. There's no such thing as a right or wrong answer. I can illustrate that in a joke very easily. It just depends on how you're looking at it and how you're thinking, right? So, what did they do? What did they do? What did they do? And when I say they, I'm including us in that too. Don't separate yourself from the rest of consciousness, because that's a duality as well. So when you look at all these, darker reflections of our own consciousness, ourself, remember that you are attacking yourself. That's why you need to love thine enemies, love thine no vengeance. Because when you go outside of yourself to seek that vengeance, you're only bringing it upon yourself. And this is where the golden rule comes into play. It's the only rule in the cause and effect game. If you cause someone pain, then you agree to have someone cause that same pain to you. What you sow, so shall you reap. This is how this works, and that's the free will choice. How do you want to experience this? Do you want to experience it with lots of pain, or do you want to experience it with a lot more bliss? Now, there's a lot of dualities going on in dualities here. I was talking about catch-22. And before we get to the actual little trigger word that I'm going to get you guys to ponder. Where was I going? That's the problem with downloads. I stopped and then it just stopped. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Before I get to talking about this little seed that got planted in us to destroy our own trust within ourselves, the other concept I wanted to bring up again about the dualities is the catch-22. Because when you finally decide to not only learn a truth, and when you have one, you get that little giggle, ha-ha moment. Then you are faced with a very, very real choice, a very real reality choice. Because if you know something to be true and you deny it or don't step into it, you get to wear the effects of that denial. And here, damned if you do, damned if you don't, remember? And if you do choose to stand in the truth, it is a spiritual truth, you're going to have pretty much the same effect anyway. But there's a difference. The universe is on your side when you stand on the truth, and you become proof. I mean that quite literally. You fall off the proverbial meat stick radar. Because what you've done, when you decide to stand in the truth, what universe will start putting into place is stripping away all those things that you need stripped away from you to clear your RAM. Those things that are distracting you, be it friends, be it family, be it possessions, be it whatever it is. The universe will strip it away from you to free you of it. These are your bonds. These are your stocks and bonds. These are the things that you have allowed to possess you. You see, this is the thing about, when you buy a house, for example, no such thing, but let's just talk in common speak. Stuff that we've been used to for so many years to get this contrast out. When you buy a home, there's that, the pride of home ownership, and as far as I remember, that kind of pride is a vice, right? And then you get very possessive of it because, although you're still a renter, there's no such thing as a homeowner. The only thing you're doing is, puffing up your chest a bit more than somebody else, and you get to pay more bills because you're the quote owner quote of the liability. But you get a lot of pride and what have you, and that becomes a possession. We talk about being possessed of demons. Well, the demons in the material sense are the physical possessions that we ultimately get possessed by. I know, I've been there. Now they had to steal my house from me. So I'm speaking from experience here. Family, everything. The universe just went, okay, Kate, no problem. You're standing in the truth, babe. I'm going to rip all the stuff away from you so that you can run forward instead of, walk forward. Because the fundamental truth, and something we covered in Lisa's show, the fundamental truth here is, if you're trying to save outside, you're actually trespassing on the golden rule. You're trespassing on the free will choice for those that wish to be ignorant, to remain ignorant. And also, if you go out of your way and help someone that has always been reaching out for help all the time, and it's not because they need help, it's because they need a servant. They're playing the low-level master-slave. Mirror, mirror, it works both ways here. And the more we talk about this stuff, the more you'll start to see the good and evil in everything. Because seriously, someone coming to you and saying, "Oh, well, save me, help me, I need this, I need that," and if you go ahead and do it, of course, that's the nature of creation, and the nature of being benevolent is to help others. But there's also the trap in that as well, because if you're helping someone that has spent a lifetime, perhaps, and I've met many of them, literally parasiting off others. With that whole, and it's a victim mentality, it's a very low-level ego program. This individual, or any individual that does this, is not confronting their own basic survival. They're relying on a savior outside of themselves. And if you become that savior, which I've been many, many times, you will get crucified. And by the very individual you help, no less. That one I promise you. I've lived that one my whole life. That was going to the whole rescue diver thing, right? So, on the other side of that coin, because it is a coin, two sides of it, you have others like yourselves that are willfully making an effort to seek knowledge instead of willfully seeking ignorance. That's what most people seek. They willfully seek the bliss of ignorance. They'd rather let someone else take care of it for them. They'll just care about their tiny little, myopic universe that, me, all about serving me, in the complete opposite way of how they should be serving themselves. Because when you truly serve yourself properly, you are actually saving yourself. You're clearing out the garbage. You're sorting out your own boat. Now here's the thing. There's another analogy. We're all doing this. Here we are out. Imagine we're trying to pick up survivors in the water, and we've got our lifeboat that's ram jam full of all the, the garbage that we've collected, the clutter in our lives. And we got, we're allegorically carrying that with us. That's the packed camel, as it were. That's the 1 gigabyte RAM, which is what I've got, using 995 megabytes of it. So there's not a whole lot there to work with, right? So you got to scrape all that clean. So you're rolling around in this boat that's got room for 30 people, yet there's only enough room for you and maybe half of a survivor, because you're carrying all this garbage. Let's say you row that boat into a group of 10 people. It won't take long for that boat to get swamped, and you go down with it. So best, if you want to truly be the rescuer, you've got to get rid of that stuff out of the boat. So if it's a boat for 30 people and a group of 10 rush it, no problem. You've got room for them. And of course, there's oars for each one of them. And those that, and this is the way I work. Those that pick up an oar to help row to save others stay in the boat. And those that, find a deck chair and a pina colada and open that up and sit back with their one hand dangling in the water will find themselves back in the water very quickly. And I'll throw them overboard. Because obviously they didn't get it the first time. And I'm not going to be guilty of aiding and abetting in someone else's failures. Because that's what you're doing. You're harming the individual that cannot save themselves. You're not giving them the motivation to stand on their own 2 feet. And when you do that, you've interfered with a lesson. And you'll get one for it. You'll get a lesson all your own. And, if you've done it as many times as I have, you start seeing the rerun of Gilligan's Island over and over, and you go, I'm done with that channel. Click. And while that might sound cruel, and, you're going to throw someone back, you're damn straight I'm going to throw them back in the water. Because they're just dead weight. They don't want to help. Listen, if they're not willing to help themselves, i.e. by rowing the boat with the rest of us, then they're certainly not going to be helping the rest of us because they're not rowing. What they're going to be is another consumerian, consuming the precious water supplies, the precious food supplies that we're all needing to get to shore. And those that have the oars in their hands are the ones that are being very careful with the rations to make sure that we all get equal, because we're all equally important. And typically, if you keep one of the loungers on board, if they're not rowing, they're probably sitting there just, sucking back the water and chewing on the food supplies because they're bored. There's your lazy boy Doritos scenario, right? Oh, they're quite happy to be, served. I'm always wary of people that one of the first things out of their face is, I'm a slave to no one. And I said, oh, okay, so what you're telling me is you want everyone else to be your slave. Okay, I get that. Fair enough. And I've heard that many times. So now I listen. So there you go. There's another little bit of a duality to look at how saving someone else is pure evil. Because you're harming yourself and them. And saving someone else that wants to save themselves is good. Because they want to help themselves. Which means they want to help you. That's how consciousness works. You either create or you're a parasitic vampire, taking from creation without putting anything in. And it's not, see, here's where we need to get out of the physical as well. Because you know what it's like. You help friends move or whatever, and there's always one lazy bastard in the group that, picks up the lampshade and just carries that while, you and a couple others are, hauling ass with the beds and the couches and the fridges and the stoves. And they're real helpful because they go out and get the box of towels. These are the ones that don't even break out in sweat. But you point a finger at them, they'll be like, what do you mean? I'm helping, right? Yeah, but are you? Yeah, you are in a very, very small way. But it's not everyone that have the ability to, pick up an end of a couch. They'd rather pick up the lampshade in one hand and the lamp in the other, and take their time to get that in. Yeah, they're helping at their level. So we have to choose whether or not we're going to be the ones hauling ass with the stove and the fridge and whatever. Because that's the thing about me, especially with having the truck. The one they stole, yeah, that one, yeah. and I find it quite funny, by the way, guys. Seriously, it's crazy funny. But you see, now I don't have to help people move anymore, because as soon as I got a truck, I was everyone's new best friend. Oh, can you do a dump run? Oh, can you bring this over? Oh, I need this picked up at the store. Oh, can you do that? Yeah. And of course I would. That was just my nature. And I still would. I like chipping in. And I don't see it as being used or abused. I just see it as I have an ability, and that's the different intent that I have with it. I have an ability to help, and if people seek it, then, there's a free will contract there. And there have been times where I couldn't do it and didn't. So, as available, I was there. So let's get into the little epiphany aspect here. First thing this morning, in the now, and by the way, I did the card split. Waylon didn't pop up for me, but lo and behold, it jumped out of the deck for someone else. I didn't quite jump all the way out, but I thought it was quite funny. So Waylon's still hanging out. Isn't that funny? But when I cracked the computer open, that post was there, and actually, it might have been, I was checking email or something, but I know when I checked my Skype, that was the first thing I saw. Olympus has fallen. And, yeah, absolutely. And you start looking at the allegorical references as to what Olympus is, what it represents. And I'll bring a few things in just to show you what pops into my universe when I see something as simple as Olympus. I automatically go to Prometheus, who's chained allegorically to the side of the mountain for giving man Promethean fire, which was the ability to think, right, independently. The fire is the tree of knowledge, good and evil, and of life as well. That's why Zeus got really, really pissed off, chained him to the mountain for eternity, where an eagle would come and nip at his liver and eat it every day, only to have Prometheus heal overnight and repeat the same process over and over. Yeah, that's a benevolent God, isn't it? How dare you give man the right to be as powerful as me? Yeah, that's, well, ye are gods, right? God is like ye are gods. All the cool cats used to say that. It's kind of funny, that, isn't it? And then you've heard me talk about ancient Egypt. And of course, I've covered the Kabbalion. I've done it on webinars. I've talked about it in great length with a great many people for the good that it has in it. A few things, as far as I can tell, we're missing, and we're piecing those things together as well. But the thing that can set you free is always the thing that traps you. Same thing with the birth certificate. That which enslaved us is the only thing that can set us free, once you realize what it is and what the intentions were behind it. The poison is always the cure, and the cure is always the poison. The up is always down, and the down is always up. If you've got someone halfway up a mountain and you've got someone standing at the top of the mountain, who is higher up? Well, it'll be the plane flying overhead, but I didn't mention that to you because that wasn't in your reality until I mentioned it. And then, of course, there's a satellite above that and other universes and what have you. Right, so it's all based on perspective, how you're looking at it, and where you are in that perspective. Now, the guy that's halfway up the mountain, he's halfway up to him, and of course, to someone in the valley, the guy's halfway up. But the guy standing at the top of the mountain is looking, and he sees him as halfway down. So you see how up is down and down is up? Just like hot and cold are infinite increments of temperature. You know, where on the thermometer does hot start and cold finish, and vice versa. I've shared the analogy as well. You know, hot to someone in the Arctic is relative to where they live, as opposed to someone that lives in the middle of the Sahara Desert, where 15 degrees Celsius in the Arctic would be deemed hot to an Inuit. It would be bloody freezing and quite comfortable for someone in the Sahara, where 40 and 50 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine bringing an Inuit to that? Yeah. And we get to experience this all the time, year in, year out. Because a 15 degree Celsius day in the middle of July would be very cold, because we've been experiencing heat. But you get 15 degrees Celsius day in the middle of January, and you got some serious thaw action going on, and you're ready to put your t-shirt on, and it's beautiful and warm because you can feel the heat in the breeze that would be cold in July. So it's always relative to your perspective, where you are, how you're looking at it. And the only way you can change anything in your universe is to change your intent and change your perspective in that intent. That is it. So let's get to this little golden nugget. I'll give you an analogy just to show you how powerful this is first. Then I'll tell you what the seed is. You'll probably get it. For those of you in North America, obviously very familiar with baseball, and I'm sure all around the world, you know American baseball. All right, so I'll use this analogy. It's the bottom of the ninth inning. It's a 0-0 draw. By the way, bottom of the ninth is the last inning. Then if it stays 0-0, it goes into overtime or extra innings until someone wins. So we're at 0-0, bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. 1 more out to go. And the heavy hitter comes up to the plate. He's already been struck out 4 or 5 times by this pitcher. So the pitcher is very tired at this point, but he knows he's still got it in him. The back catcher, just to go and make sure, calls a timeout and runs up to the pitcher's mound to have a chat with his pitcher, his partner, because they work in tandem, these two. Back catcher walks up to the pitcher and says, "Listen, we're almost there, and you've got a perfect game right now. You've already struck this guy out 4 or 5 times today. So just remember, whatever you do not pitch him a low inside fastball. He'll take it out of the park." And the pitcher says, "Yeah, absolutely, okay." The back catcher leaves the pitcher, goes back to his position behind the plate. The batter's ready. Pitcher winds up to throw, and the only thing going through his mind is this: don't throw a low inside fastball. Don't throw a low inside fastball. Pitcher winds up, throws the ball. Fastball, low inside, out of the park. Game over. You see, because what the back catcher did was he planted a seed in this pitcher of what not to do. And the only thing that pitcher is going to focus on at that point now is what not to do. And it's going to be exactly what he does do. What the back catcher did was he planted the absolute perfect seed. The same one that the Vatican and the schools and the governments and churches, religion, everything. This is the very same seed that they use ad nauseum. And what they did was they planted the seed of doubt. Have you ever done something, just spontaneously? Like, toss a coin and it lands on its edge, or it spins around and it stops on its edge, or I related one story to a ninja earlier. This was back in the days of the early basement, playing in the bands and stuff, high school time, whatever. And my friend Tim had his bass on, and he was doing something. Anyway, I lit up a smoke, and he says, "Oh, could you light one up for me and toss it to me?" So I had literally just lit one, so I took it and I threw it, tossed it to him. At that time, though, he had just looked away, but he had his right hand up in the air, and the cigarette landed perfectly right between his first and second fingers, just like he normally smoked. And he didn't even realize it, and he took a puff on it, and then it hit him. It was a 5 or 6 foot throw. I just kind of... Now, try and do that. You'd probably end up doing it, but it might take you 100,000 throws to do it perfect like that, because you did it without consideration. You knew that everything was already in place, but you weren't thinking about it. That's the whole thing about creation. You don't think about creation, you just create. So I just threw it, and bam, there it was. And he took a puff, and he had to take a puff of the cigarette before he actually realized what happened. And I know you've all had experiences like that. Taking your keys and wanting to throw them, on the key rack, and just lands it perfectly. And then you go, "Wow, that was really cool," and you go and try to do it. It's because you've got this beautiful seed of doubt that's been planted in you for so very long, and has been controlling you and owning you at every turn, and it gets reinforced all the time, specifically with school, at a very early age, because they want to make sure that you're thinking like the group, and they want to make sure that if you get something, on a test, if you get something wrong, they want to make sure that you got it wrong, so you can doubt yourself for the next one. And they put a little, key there, X marks the spot, right? No consideration. And they give you little check marks for all the ones you got, quote, right, quote, according to their rules. So it's been a game of rules outside of ourselves. And really, those of us in the unknowing, all-powerful coming in here, we were blanked out coming in here. That's the rules of the game, right? Non-interference. And you can't have a game if you come in with advantages, right? Especially a game that's been run like this. This isn't just a platform. This is, this is an infinite platform. This is one of the dimensions. I would hazard to say it's one of the more difficult levels to play. And I guess in infinite sense, it's one of the more easy ones to play too. Halfway up or halfway down, doesn't matter. You're neither up nor down. That's where we need to get, into the middle, so that we can start eliminating some of those doubts. And as I was talking with Ninja as well, I said to her about, the movie, Mrs. Doubtfire. Promethean fire, you, knowledge. Of course, what's the character? Well, it's a guy actor dressing up as a woman nanny. Of course, with a Scottish accent. Not a very good one, but, Robin got the point across. And what was he trying to do? He was trying to get access to his children, because his ex denied him that. It's about irresponsibility in his life, but what he did in order to find that balance was and this is allegorical, was he brought in the masculine and feminine into balance, right? And by the end of the movie, he wasn't so hard on himself. He wasn't so doubting. And that's what we have to do. We all have to become Mr. and Mrs. Doubtfire. We got to stop doubting ourselves. We're not in Pisces anymore. Belief means to doubt. To know means to know. We're in Aquarius now. So we need to start getting into that place of knowing versus hoping wishing, believing, just know. It's going to take a little practice. We just got here, no hurry. We only have infinity here. Not necessarily here, but I'm speaking very relative. We have infinity, and that's all we have. So we're going to make some pretty cool, pretty interesting games. Some of them are going to be very challenging, like this one. But it's not always going to be like this. Because what we're doing now is coming into a place where we can start creating our own worlds. But we can't do that until we remove the doubts. So here's the trick. When you want something, put it in the mirror. This will break the program. And listen to yourself answer, because it's going to be you answering, nobody else. Start saying, I doubt I can do that. And then your little voice is going to come in and say, yeah, you can. So start replanting your own seeds. Fight fire with fire. If it was an effective tool to destroy our ability to create, then it must be equally an effective tool to restore that. No? Yeah? I thought so. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Blessed if you do, blessed if you don't. Catch 22 is your double twins, right? 11-11. Works for me. Oh, there you go. Anybody feel like jumping in here and having a little chat? I'd like to know if that's a fairly easy concept for people to grasp. Instead of having the initial or original doubts that we have had ingrained into us, how do we start placing our own mirrored doubts? Because only when we do that to ourselves will we find the mirror and go, no, I can do that. Well, I doubt I can do it. Yes, I can. I doubt I can. Yes, I can. Play your own back catcher to your own pitcher. And whatever you do, don't succeed. See what I mean? Start putting the blessings in the mirror. I have said we need to reverse out of here. Reverse. Your light of creation. There, from very. Say, you, the Trinity of One. Himself, herself, itself. And make no mistake about it, this game is very simple. Don't get caught up in the distractions of, it's this side against that side with this team color and it's this concept. No. It's very simple. Creation, all creation is consciousness, and it uses the tool of magno-electric. And I'm putting it in its proper order now. Magnetic electric. The prodigal son came from the magnetic. And what the magnetic, divine feminine void of creation gave the prodigal son, the electric, was the ability to create creation itself. Electricity can make magnetism. So it can have its own children, its own creations, as it were. And what we're dealing with right now is a very, very selfish game where that prodigal son, divine, masculine, electric, has gotten a little cocky. Pardon the pun. During this movie, it's brilliant. When you look at the movie backwards, as in the White House are the bad guys, and those raiding the White House are the good guys, there's a few statements that are made that you go, yeah, to reinforce what I just said within the movie. And you'll see it if you watch it. It's quite something. One of the things I thought was beautiful, there was an airplane that was used at the beginning of the raid. It was like a C-130. It was a United States Air Force complete with, Gatling guns on each side, but watch the movie. It's quite allegorical. One of the things that would stand out was one of the wings of this plane ended up hitting the Washington Monument, the big dick in Washington, D.C., the big phallus, and literally cut the top right off it. So I thought it was great. What's the allegory, right? That was the severing of the masculine control to bring things back into balance. And of course, it hit it with its right wing. The divine feminine lobbed off the top of the patriarchal. And when this plane eventually, shortly thereafter, crashed, it went in left wing first. Left being the west, Cain. So it was the destruction of that illusion as well. So these things are very grand illusion allegories on a universal planetary scale, right? Oh, hey, we got Bindi and we got Ninja. I'm gonna bring both you guys in. So, yeah, there we go. Hello. How are you, ladies?
Hello. Good evening, all.
Hey, yeah, good to have you.
Yeah. It's good to be here again.
Yeah, what kind of downloads do you get today?
Not too much. I think I've hit the wee wall today. Yeah.
Yeah, you need a couple of days.
Okay. I just
Yeah,
kept
a couple of days
drinking.
to recharge.
Yeah, I just kept drinking and it's going away again, but I'm just chilling out.
Yeah, we reach those. It happens to me all the time. We reach these beautiful epiphany pinnacles, and here's the joy. Here's the joy, and the sorrow of hitting an epiphany pinnacle. Is you've got this beautiful wow moment, and well, for me, it's like wow, and then how the hell am I going to top that for tomorrow night's show? You know?
Yeah.
So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Same
Right.
game, catch 22.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Did I interrupt you mid-sentence?
No.
All right. Okay. What I did do is I've got the Oracle deck of the Dreamtime, the Aussie card, and what I did do is focus on your show and especially on your name, and I pulled a card. Do you want to hear what it was? What is?
Sure. Before you do that, can I just bring out this beautiful thing that people need to see that you just said?
Right.
Tarot. What's the name of your tarot card deck again?
The Dreamtime Oracle.
Okay. Say Oracle a little slower.
Oracle. Oracle.
Oracle.
Oral.
This is where aura. This is where you get to harvest your own aura.
Right.
There you go. So that's what an oracle is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, that's beautiful.
All right. Yeah. So what did we harvest today?
Well, we've got Lightning Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's number 2 in the deck.
Okay.
I'm going to translate because this book is in Dutch, and so I'm going to put my brain in double. Namaragon is the name of the Lightning Man. Namaragon. From the clouds, he sees what goes wrong in the world and warns. His explosive energy burns away that is what is no longer necessary. On first glance, this seems destructive, inflammable, but it's not. It's regeneration. All new things must grow from level. There you go. It's short but sweet, but to the point.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
That's exactly how I thought. There's the chainsaw.
Yep. We have to get to 11. Well, I've used the contractor analogy, right? I won't start to build. I'm not going to build a new house on top of an old one. We're going to take the old one down. That's why I look at the system as the house that needs to come down.
Yep.
We're not, you can put all the band-aids you want on a house that's falling to pieces. The foundation's rotted out and all the joists are breaking and the stairs are collapsing and the windows are all broken and everything else. You'll get to a point where you total up. Yeah, it's going to cost more to fix this place up than it is to take it down and build a new one. And that's how we got to start looking at the system. You can't band-aid this system. It was never meant to be band-aided. You need to take it down. We need a fresh slate.
Why band-aid an illusion? That's just more illusion on the same illusion.
Bingo. Now there's there's someone that's outside the box thinking, why build a bigger illusion on top of the one illusion that's already got you nailed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The band-aid came from the same silly game.
Mm-hmm.
That assumes there's something to fix.
Well, exactly. We got to get to level.
It's not broken. It's redundant.
Yeah, we've got to get to level. We've got to get to 0 point, and there's that mirror of, is destruction good or evil? Well, it depends on the intent. Could you do me a favor?
Sure.
For the benefit of the Dutch listeners, could you read that? Can you read that in Dutch for everybody, please?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be fun. Hang on. I'll put the book here.
I'd love to hear it.
Oké. Speciaal voor onze Nederlandse luisteraars. Ik heb een kaart getrokken uit het Droomtijd Orakel voor Kate. En daar is de bliksemgooier uitgekomen. Macht is hier het sleutelwoord. Namaragon ziet vanuit de wolken wat er misgaat en geeft een waarschuwing. Zijn explosieve energie kan wat niet langer nuttig is, op wat zichzelf destructief en ontvlambaar lijkt, vernietigen. Dit maakt regeneratie en nieuwe groei mogelijk. Alsjeblieft.
Very nice.
You're welcome.
Perfect. There you go. See, we're the whole world's at the table. This is what I love about it.
Yep.
It's just amazing. I mean, what else can I say? Oops, I better check my Skype. That's the problem with downloads in case Johnny's trying to get a hold of me. Did he? Nope, no one's tried me yet. So
okay.
The Doubtfire Matt. Actually,
you
Ninja.
Want another gift?
I'm never going to say no to gifts.
Right. You know how the color red and blue keeps popping up lately?
Oh yeah.
Well, I've got an animal oracle deck too, and I was just shuffling just to get the energy of mine in again, and lo and behold, 2 of them flipped out pretty far, and it was a blue and a red card. The kingfisher and the fox.
The Fisher King.
You already see it, right?
Yeah, the Fisher King card is one of my significators. That's the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. They're both my significators in the tarot. So it's just coincidence, and of course the fox. One of the very first. Yeah, the vixen. Yes.
Yeah, the trickster.
One of the first books I ever read. This is like of any. It wasn't that big, but I remember ordering it through a book club when I was in grade 1 or 2, whatever. Like one of my first books, and it was the title. I think it was called The Werefox, but it was about a child that would turn into a fox, right? Just like a werewolf, but it was a very enchanting story, and that's what clicked whenever you said the fox. Of course, what is the fox? Divine feminine and the cleverness and unrelenting if it's being chased, right? It just keeps going, right?
It's the trickster. It's the 0 point between masculine and feminine, with the feminine as a base.
Yep.
It's a dog, but it's not. It's a cat, but it's not.
And the fox will double back on itself. It's fearless.
Just like the coyote.
Yeah. In an attempt to trick its followers, pursuers, it will double back to confuse it. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Ron had shared something today too that I thought was very, again, in the now. Here we go. Here's another. This is how I look at everything I look at. It has to be relevant to right now, and what is it really saying? I know what it's saying by reading it or looking at it, but what is it really saying? Look deeper.
Yeah.
So Ron had written to me, what is it to reveal? And he wrote dash veal, V-E-A. And he gave me a link to Wiktionary for the definition, right? And he wrote just below it, preparation of a new contract. And I'm thinking, of course it is. Because I cracked the page open, and the first word I saw was calf, right? It's from Latin, vilitus. And what does the calf represent? Now, this is why you need to shift this spellbound perspective we have. Because when I say calf and veal together, the first thing people are going to think of is something to eat. Like, quite frankly, ew, but anyway, something to eat, you know, a nice veal cutlet. No, first thing I thought of with calf was the calf on my leg, which is the back part of the shin. What rules the shins and the calves? In Australia? No. Aquarius.
All right, yeah, of course. I was thinking re-flesh, like in veal is flesh, re-flesh.
Yes.
Man again.
Right.
Re-Christ, or whatever Christed. Yep.
Yep. And see, this is what I mean. There's us talking about it, and we're coming in from different perspectives, you know? So. I do have hold tight, girls. I have another, this one might be interesting. Another caller, and I'm going to open up their line here. Hello, Crap Pile 69. Wait for it.
Oh, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I didn't change my name. It's Ståle. So I don't know why. My Skype still says Ståle. So something happened.
That's nice, though. I love it. So
it is the name of my Skype profile.
Oh, it works. Did I say it right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to make sure I said it right. That's funny. I love it. Crap Pile 69.
It's a good example of instead of taking things the first level literal, take it double literal, and then it becomes etherical again.
Yeah.
Catch what I mean?
Yeah, and you get the mirror of it.
Psychology.
Yep. As above, so below.
And it's ethereal again. Yeah.
It's about getting it. Here's the thing. Until you know the head and tail of a coin, you don't know where the rim is. And what we're all doing is searching for that center point, the one in between. Because as soon as you get there, now you have a balanced perspective. And you can see both sides of every situation to see the best solution. And that's what we're doing. We're coming back into that. So Stella, how is you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. And I hear you're fine too. Lots of wisdom. And
trying anyway. Actually, that's the joke. I'm not. It just happens. So.
Yeah, I hear that, and I really enjoy listening. So I will just listen for a while more.
Okay. Well, your line's open here, so jump in whenever you feel need.
Hey, Kate.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ninj.
Hey, Ståle. Why are you running off? You have a story to tell from today.
Yeah.
Really?
But, I didn't want to interrupt.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, please. And here, thank you, Saul, for actually saying this, because this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is why I call out to you guys to join me at the table. Because I don't know what's going to come out of you guys that's going to trigger my next breadcrumb. So that I can trigger your next one, and you can trigger mine. Back and forth. This is spiritual ping pong. It's a perfect game. So please, come to the table. Let's hear your story.
Well, I went to Karlstad again today to buy a headset with a microphone. And I went to the town square there, where I took the pictures of that temple bar with a clock on the window. Or 1847. Yeah.
Oh, and, quick, hang on. See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. 1847. Did anybody notice the beginning of Cloud Atlas? That was the start date of Cloud Atlas, 1847. Finish date was 2144. That's what I mean. So keep going.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a guy standing by the window there outside, because I wanted to go in and ask them about their happy hour, which should be exactly 1847. And as I was walking towards him, another man came up to him, and I just stood like 3 meters away, and I listened a little to them, and then I recognized the second guy. That was the judge that took my house. So, and he was in ordinary clothes. He had a suit inside the court, because we don't have those capes and those black robes and stuff in Sweden. So I just listened a little bit at what they said, and then I went over and I said, funny thing, hey, this 1847 on the window, is that happy hour? And the guy looked a bit strange, the first one that stood there, and he said, yes. Oh, yeah, you know what it means numerologically? I said, no. I said, that's 9/11, like 11th September 2001. And they looked really strange. But you know that? I said, over in the lodge, because you meet in the lodge on the other side of the square there. And the judge, he looked scared. Was so funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what Ståle has just described is what I call a universal bitch slap. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was wonderful to do it. Give him back.
Oh, yeah. And actually, more importantly, he gave it back himself, because you nailed him with truth. And that's why he got scared, because the last thing a criminal wants is to have light shone on them, especially when they're shining on themselves. You know, that's beautiful. Good bitch slap.
See, I told you. That's why in the chat room earlier, Ståle had written that, you know, the judge was cowering, and, you know, judge cowers.
Well, yeah.
You know, that's what he got him to do today.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
And I could look him deep in the eyes, and of course, or maybe later, he recognized me. This was some months ago, but he probably remember now, I think.
Oh no! It you know, he sees a lot of people that he steals from. It'll collect. Don't worry. And here's the joy of it. Look at the seed you planted. You planted a seed of doubt. Yeah. And this
maybe
is how
even a night sweat.
Well, yeah, I actually think what Ståle did was took out a big bag of grass seed and just dumped it on him. That was beautiful. You guys gotta feel the ragweed to have to dig through now. Well done, and this is not about getting even. This is about golden rule.
Yeah, and
that's it.
So it's the boomerang effect.
What goes around comes around. Wait with open arms, or learn to duck your sorry ass.
Yep.
And that's the catch-22 of truth. Yeah, keep going.
No, it's just the rest of my round in town, and I went to the music store. It's the best guitar shop in big radius, and the owner was in the cashier there, and I told him I asked him, or told him I talked to one of your guys about the 432 hertz last time. You heard about that? You know about that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, and no, he didn't know anything about it, and I asked him. I said Bach and Mozart and the Stradivarius for 1.5 million, and all of that was for 432 hertz. They composed in 432, and they didn't know. And I asked him, "Do you know who changed the frequency? What's it called in English? The ground tone, or for tuning."
Oh, it's pitch. Concert pitch was 432.
Concert pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said.
Joseph Goebbels.
Yes, and he was very surprised, and he was so eager to hear more. So I wrote down some names for him, and Critical Mass Radio, and Santos Panacci, and I said to him at the end, because we do this together, and he said absolutely, and he was so very interested, and it's so cool, and
and you just shared something very, very important. If you are going to want to talk to someone about anything to, wake them up. I'm not saying don't talk to people, but find what their magic button is. You came at truth from the musical side, which is obviously going to appeal to a music store owner. So find out a bit about the people, even the one, I'm talking even your family and stuff. Find that one thing that resonates with them, and then find your door to bring them in through. Plant the seed that way.
Find the allegory niche. They've got one. Everybody's got one. You hinge on somewhere with everyone.
Yeah, something's going to float your boat and sink your anchor.
Yep. And some of them rub the wrong way, but do sink in.
Exactly.
Even the ones that you think, ooh, I'm not so sure. Well, sometimes when they rub the wrong way, some people prefer hinging on that way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to approach a bona fide born-again Christian, one of the first things you can say is, Jesus is one of the greatest teachers ever to walk the face of the earth, right?
Yep, they're going to eat you up.
And then you sit there and you start telling them the quotes that they don't know. Did you know that Jesus said this? Did you know that Jesus said that? And now they're in, plant the seeds. Because most of these people don't know what he said. The big focus one, of course, in Sunday school and everything else, you got to learn John 3:16. You got to sell the murder first.
Yeah. Pretty much like.
Go ahead.
It's pretty much like don't teach your puppy tricks by kicking it.
Yeah, you wanna have some
They're
puppy
babies.
treats.
You don't want to teach a baby anything from fear. Don't scare them more than they already are. Doesn't work.
Nope.
Brings them all the way back to the reptile brain, and they just go fight or flight.
Yeah, or freeze.
Yep.
Which is instantaneous. See ya.
Yep.
Right,
Bubble.
so, yeah. So
but
I mean,
sometimes hard to avoid.
No worries. And just to let you know, Benny, we do have a bit of a time delay with Skype, so don't worry if it sounds kind of choppy. It's because of there is a slight time delay. I've noticed that with a few calls with people.
Okay, I'm not hearing any problems, so.
Oh no, I hear you loud. I hear you loud and clear. It's just yeah. So it's all good. But a couple of brilliant stories. Look at the major victories. Those are beautiful. Why wouldn't you want to share those, you selfish prick? That's a universal slap. Mini chainsaw. That one had little bows. That one had little bows on it. That's beautiful, and that's exactly what we need to do. And how tough was that for you to do today, Ståle?
Oh, not at all. Not tough. I've been doing this for years now. Not like this, or I've been trying to wake people up, and I tried different approaches, but I got the hang of it now. So I do it everywhere I go, and I just find something that I can say.
One of my favorites, and I've done this for a long time, one of my favorites things to do anytime I'm using paper to trade for goods, right? And every time at the till, here's the question I ask. Do you guys still take this worthless paper for money? Of course, you look at it like you got two heads, but the seed's planted, right?
Yeah,
of course. And then if they give, it depends on how they react to it, right? Some of them just smile, and some of them just glaze over, right? But it says, well, I mean, the reason why I call it worthless, do you like getting bills in the mail? And they go, well, no. Well, yeah, me either. So why do we put them in our wallets and purses and treasure them? $20 bills, €10 bills, £10 note bills, And it might not sound that profound, but it's a very innocuous little seed that you plant. And what have I said about seeds? And this is how we got nailed, right? Those seeds that got planted in us germinated and grew. That's how the ego gets in there too. It's these concepts that we, sometimes we get, rubbed the wrong way, or the ego does anyway. And that seed gets planted and it grows and it festers. And you've seen people get completely overcome with just whatever, rage or hate or anger at some individual. And it gets to a point with some people where they get violent, to the point of actually killing. That's how dangerous the negative seeds are. So what I'm suggesting is, well, we can use the same seeds in reverse. And they will grow and they will blossom versus fester. Because here's the thing about this tick-tocking of our dynamic that we have going on right now as a dominant frequency under the laws of the universe. Nature abhors a vacuum. And the more we tick-tock, and the higher we tick-tock, brings more clocks into resonance with us, because we're getting louder and louder and louder in the consciousness. And when one other clock ticks and talks with us and comes into alignment with this dominant frequency, they've left a void below them, and it has to get pulled in. It has to get filled in. And universe will, up from the bottom, fill the crack. And that individual is going to be one of those people you planted seeds with, just like in a music store. And I got to tell you, musicians, for the most part, with me, are the easiest to talk to. Artists of any kind, actually. Ones that are really in touch with their right hemisphere, with their divine feminine creative. They're the ones that's why artists were always major targets. Anytime dictatorships came into play, they wanted to round up the intellectuals, the benevolent intellectuals, the artists, and of course, the gays and lesbians and all of the other, misfits of society. Well, because we don't go along with, groupthink. We dare to dance our own dance and sing our own song.
They'd have to quarter me to put me in one of the groups.
Oh yeah, it's again. This is that. Well, I was talking about labels earlier today, and I hate using them. Yeah. I only use them to show contrast and to it's common speak. It's something that everyone comprehends.
Oh, sure, they're containers, and when you start believing them, they're traps. So, as a container, it's pretty neutral. It's just a sign.
Well, yeah.
Like a road sign, you're pointing to a concept.
Therein lies the trap of the name as well. That became more than a label; it became the trap, and using the same trick. And the minute we claim to be one thing at all, we become nothing, or everything else becomes nothing to us. When you separate yourself with a label, what you've done is, like I've said this before, used this concept many times. If one decides to call themselves a Christian, what you're actually, and talking in churchianity sense, okay, what you've said then is that all the Jews, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Muslims, all the other different Christian denominations, the 29,900 others, are all at that moment completely and instantly separate and wrong, according to your label.
Yeah. The allegory is, do you know the kid's toy, the Jack in the Box?
Oh, I love the Jack in the Box.
There he is. That's the allegory for words.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, did you notice the post in Love and Stuff there, I think a week ago? And da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Pop goes the wee cell. Yeah, it means the system goes.
Yeah.
Right, so
it's always one of my favourite nursery rhymes. I said, does anybody know what the weasel is? And they went, yes, it's one of those little animals. I thought, forget it.
Oh, yeah. Lots of allegories, here and there. Oh, I do want to do a couple of shout-outs here, because I was just scoping down Facebook a little while ago, and I do like to call out to people. Hello, Catlin. Nice to see you. And Emily, I love you too. And Sean, nice smile. And there's John. Good midnight all. Yes, indeed. And that's the thing too. That you're international when you see every time zone coming to the table. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. So thank you for that, guys. What that tells me is that the clocks are gaining volume and gaining numbers. And the posts that have been coming in from people, I should probably, I hope I didn't, okay, there we go. That mouse thing again with that little button, take me off the page. Let me go to messages, because there was a few people. Just to let people know, especially the newer ones on Facebook, I have, it's actually getting a little better. I'm not sure what's going on. I think I got rid of some of my browser things that were slowing my computer down. But just a shout out to Zach. He does all the videos on YouTube for the Kate of Gaia channel, and also they go up to Synchronicity as well. That's the two channels. So thank you very much, Zach, and of course Giuseppe at Lightworkers Media, and everyone that makes the effort to get the word out far and beyond what I'm doing here and what we're doing collectively to generate the reason to put the videos out. So we do this together. Everyone has their role to play, and many hands make light work, and many oars make a rowboat into a speedboat. So the more people that grab an oar and climb aboard, and there's that oar again from aura. A-U, gold, Ra, the light of creation, you, within, right? So there, you. That's what the aura is. That's your golden light of creation from within that is emanating out. I'm actually one of the lucky ones where when I get into my still space and get observing, I can see them.
Yep, they're there.
They're there. Trees are gorgeous, especially at night. When you see the energies pouring off them, it's just it's stunning. And nothing required. I will actually suggest for anyone that really wants to start seeing that kind of stuff, get on your way.
Exactly.
Honestly, it's just incredible. Do a shout out to Claudia here as well. Hey, Claudia, got your message. And I've got Pam. Lots of beautiful new people. Hey, Susanna. Susanna's in, I believe, in Greece right now. Sent me a picture of a beer from the beach from her mobile yesterday. It's like, oh, lovely. Shout out to Tina and Shell and Sam and Jordan and Varel. This is what I mean. These are, and Rezu, he was the one who came back with the answer with Truman Show as well as Ninja the other night, and Robert, and so many people. And I mean, this is, I need you guys to hear this, because this is what you're doing. Okay? Good midnight oil, Sean, indeed. This is what you're doing I'm just a conduit here. You see, I'm not even going to say hope. It is my wish that people understand what we're all doing here collectively, that we're all here equally, that I've said it countless times. I'm just here to push buttons on the board and buttons on the ego. Oh, do you want to know what an ego sounds like? Here's what an ego sounds like. Poke, 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 boom. That's what an ego sounds like. Okay? So that's effectively what I like to do and continue to do because I love you that much. And it's wonderful when people finally see what it is that is really going on, because only the ego can get offended. Only the ego can get angry. Only ego gets defensive. Only the ego wants to reach out and smack you across the face. Never the being. Never. So that's why I want to scrape that garbage off you. I will do my best to. Besides, I'm not into TV reruns. I don't talk to televisions. I take sledgehammers and chainsaws to them. And once we get that out of the way, once you remove that tricky little bastard program that has you thinking it's you, where the real you can shine through. Oh, told you I was right. Look how stunningly beautiful you are. And call me selfish. That's all I want to see.
No, you're stunningly beautiful yourself.
Yeah, that's so true, Stoller. That's so true. I saw Kate before the show, and there's a tie-in with the stunningly beautiful, the stunning, all these things we've mentioned tonight. Kate looks stunning tonight, but Kate, what colour are you wearing that ties in with what Bindi gave to you earlier when she gave you the red and the blue?
Well, it's
Seen any fireflies tonight?
It's purple. It's a 2-layer. It's got this beautiful pink underneath, and it gives us a gorgeous, like amethyst, indigo, and purple outer layer, and it's gorgeous.
But you mentioned the red and the blue, didn't you, Bindi? Yep. And I thought, I know what colour Kate is wearing. Mm-hmm. And you put the two together, and then the stunning thing, and it's all there.
Red plus blue equals purple.
Yeah, and in Dutch it's called purper. Sounds nice, right?
It does.
The colour purple, purper.
Sounds like a cat almost, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, divine feminine again. Just to bring another allegory in for more recent listeners. And I don't like calling you listeners, so please, I just do that because it's part of the shtick here, right? But when you're in conflict of divine feminine, divine masculine, the universe will show you, and it will come in many forms. One of the most common forms you will find. This is the universe trying to awaken you. This is your allegory. Is when you're traveling along, maybe a little too quick, and you see flashing red and blue lights behind you. What that's saying is you're at war and in conflict with your inner self. Do not be alarmed. Just take the message. That's what it's saying. You are still deeply entrenched in the Whore of Babylon. You are still deeply playing the game. You are still in conflict because you got a ticket, you're going to fight it. Well, why would you? Because every license, everything that you have, is what you're saying is, I am going to willfully commit a crime. That's what licenses are. Because when you go back to it, and I've done this countless shows, it's actually almost passé now, but it needs to be out there because this helps people understand who they are and how we got caught in this legal trap. We're all, if you carry the name without knowing who you are, actually, when you do know who you are, you will very quickly get rid of all forms of identification. Because you only need one thing, and that's the proof of the fraud, and they will never accept it because it turns the tables on them. And that's the very document that got you enslaved to begin with, the birth certificate. They can't use it for identification. Said, no, this is the only thing my parents got. It ain't me, but this is you're looking for paper, this is all I got. And they can't touch it. Because it means then they'd be committing fraud. You have to consent to being that document. That's the only document that that traps you. Because every other document you get after it, licenses and anytime you use the name to get loans or whatever, you're actually committing fraud. The name is not owned by you. You're using something that was given away. So we turn the tables on them now. All right? So when you see the red and blue flashing lights, that is you're out of balance. You're out of center. So don't get upset. Look within. Don't look out to blame. Hell, I got pulled over for doing the speed limit, but I was being tailed. That was my first year in the quote movement unquote. This was a couple of months after the judge bowed. I was tailed incessantly, even in different cities. As soon as I leave one, they radio ahead, and lo and behold, coming out of another city called Hamilton, and the guy came up behind me with no lights on either, and I was doing, it was 80 kilometers, and I'm not a speed. I just enjoy getting from point A to point B. I'm never in a hurry. I just kind of get in the zone and go, right? Go with the flow. But doing bang on the speed limit. No lights on this guy behind me. Next thing you know, is I see the headlights flashed on and the cherries. So I knew it was a tail. And they were pretty nasty too. Yeah, they're like groping crotches, these guys. All manner of things, right? Like cuffing you and throwing you in cars and whatever. They actually had to steal my wallet. Here's the joke of it too. Actually, the only thing I had on me was my at the time birth certificate. I didn't have that. I had documents I'd done up. That's right, for myself, and I had a postal money order that had been given to me, and I was going to cash it that day. And of course, I never carried identification with me ever, but that day I had put the license in with it, so I could cash it, right? And lo and behold, they stole my wallet, and they went through my wallet to find that, and that was their one piece of joinder. That's how desperate they are to get the name. Without that, they have nothing, absolutely nothing, and they know it. That's the best part, because even the trained dogs have to yield. And they go, oh, no treats. Yeah, sorry, asshole, not today. But and then once you get to this sounds like this major walk down a road. It's not. It's one step to step into the truth. Because once you step into it and stand in it, you get the universe bubble of love around you. Yeah, lots of stuff is for me, lots of stuff happened. And the universe ripped my universe down to the bare bones, like pretty much overnight. One night. Destroyed everything I had ever been a part of. Family, my home, everything was gone in one night. Kidnapped at gunpoint. That was that. Done. And it's been a year and a half now. I've been on survival mode. So hey, you know what? I think I'll do a little. I could use a little help. I got I think $30 to my name, and count up my change. And a half tank of gas. So if anybody feels like helping, that would be great. Email contact is coleman.victoria@gmail.com. So it's COLEMAN dot Victoria VICTORIA @gmail.com. And that's my friend here that is my between worlds being, so that I can still communicate with the other side, right? So there you go. See, Ninja, I did ask. That's a big one.
Yeah,
for
well
me.
done. Well done.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, that one's never easy. It's not pride either. It's got nothing to do with pride.
But Kate, I sent you some money, and I haven't seen anything in my mail that you accepted, because I don't know what I did in PayPal.
That was a while back, wasn't it?
No, but I did it again.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't talked to Vicky. I don't talk to her every day, but she does let me know. When a few of them come in, and she'll forward stuff along. So, well, thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh, no need to thank.
Yeah, every little bit helps, you know. Yeah, typically, well, my life every month is, and this is just to take care of the two things that are constant. That's $160 a month for storage to keep my music and photographs and a few other odds and sods, and $30 a month for my phone. So it's about $200 a month, and then that's everything above that is what I use for, you know, food or, you know, fuel or whatever. And let's just say I have a very, very frugal lifestyle. I don't eat much. Don't have to. Urine therapy. You'd be amazed at how much you don't eat when you're on urine therapy. You don't need to. And your weight doesn't. Well, if anything, if you need to lose some weight, it'll take care of it. And if you're at your weight, it'll maintain it. So mine maintains. I'd be lucky.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I can.
My weight's coming down like you never believe.
Oh yeah.
Thyroid problem healed.
Well, it pulls all the toxins out, right?
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of that stuff gets trapped in the fatty tissues, right? And of course, like especially North America with obesity, it's crazy. But you know, you will very quickly balance your body out, because that's what your kidneys do. It balances out for your body what you need, and it's like I said, the DNA program takes care of business for you. This is why we don't have to be so mindful of our bodies if we're using the things our bodies give us. You create your own cure. I can't make it any simpler than that, you know?
Yep. And your mind starts to work in sync with it. Your body starts to tell your mind what you need to do.
And that is a pure fact.
That's
people often ask. Yeah, people have, you know, asked me about health and stuff. I said, well, I listen to my body. I don't get sick. I don't agree with it, and you know, I have my perfect elixir, so I'm not going to. That's the bottom line. You know, pure ether. Of course, you're going to get information that your body needs from your higher self. Where do you think it's coming from? You want to grab, you know, get the connection to your higher self and start scraping the RAM off fast? You generate it numerous times a day. And I tell you, if you can't handle, you know, looping, then just make sure that if you can't do all of your morning one, you know, do as much as you can, and every little bit helps.
Yep.
Because the cure is contained in one drop as it is in, you know, one cup. Thing with me is I love it because it's got, you know, yeah, you've got what you need in the one drop, but I'm thinking stem cells, baby. Oh yeah, let's rejuvenate.
Your hologram gets a reboot from its original blueprint.
Yeah.
Before Eden instead of after the program.
Yeah, and what you're doing is you'll feel it too. You will feel it.
Yeah.
Your body goes, yeah. Look I'm getting all my pieces back, and it's going to start restoring the lost brain cells from alcohol. It's going to start reconnecting things. It's going to, you know, people talk about these chemtrails and fibers and all the rest of this shit. Urine takes care of it. It takes care of it. Gone. Bye. See ya. You know, bots? Are you kidding me? Gone. That's why I remember the first I was running around,
kept saying, it's alive, it's alive. Like somebody put whatever voltage up my ass and whoo. Yep.
Well, here's a question for you. Another way to check your conductivity. I'm glad I'm revisiting some of this stuff, because these are some of the physical things. If you know, the ego needs proof. There's no question. That's what ego's all about. Ego only trusts in what it can see, taste, touch, smell, and feel. Okay? And hear. Spirit doesn't need that. Spirit just knows. That's what we've lost.
But once ego does believe, wow, it's
absolutely.
Your ally.
Once you get left and right going click, click, click together.
Yeah. Once you've got the right programs running for creation instead of destruction and self-destruction, wow.
Bingo. So, For checking a physical way to check your conductivity is the tip of your tongue, or the top portion of the front of your tongue. Put it to the roof of your mouth and feel around to when you get that tingle. It's like checking an almost dead 9-volt battery. You check it on your tongue, and it gives you a little. It's exactly the same as that. And as soon as you find your sweet spot, hold it there. And what you're doing is actually shorting out the reptilian brain and the adrenals. There's something else too. If you want, if you're in a situation where there might be a little fear involved, just put your tongue to the roof of your mouth. It shorts it out. It really does. It shuts down the program. It shuts down the reptilian brainstem transceiver because you've bypassed it. You've used Taurus to bypass to Aries. So what we have with the tongue is the separation of heaven and earth, the lower, right?
Yep.
So that's why it had to be a tongue pledge. They had to interrupt our spiritual ability with words. So we used the curse, or the tools that were used against us, fighting fire with fire. Fine. If it was a trap, then it must also be a release. So feel around, and once you've been on UT for a day, you'll notice it right after the first one.
You're never going to stop after you've done that full day. You can't. It's self-rewarding. It clicks. It's in.
Yeah, and
it's addictive.
Well, that's the thing too. Even mercury fillings, you're shorting out all that garbage and nonsense too, right? And I'm gonna get Ninja to jump in here as well, because I want to discuss dentistry for a few minutes as well, just to finish this off. What you're going to notice is a constant, like for me anyway. It doesn't matter where I put my tongue now. I feel the energy all the time now. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. So, Ninja, we had a really interesting talk about dentists and, barber poles and what have you. Todd Sweeney. I think it was Todd Sweeney, right? Sweeney Todd, yeah.
Yeah, I had a bit of a flow of thoughts going through my head today while I was doing laundry, which is not unusual. That's the way it flows with me when I'm doing that kind of thing. And so it included a lot of things, really, but dentistry was the biggest thing. I was thinking, how do you torture and dominate a whole population and keep them in terror and an ongoing mild level of fear? Well, you can do that, and you also can keep them coming back to you regularly, and you can do that and get them to pay you for it. And the constant level of low-lying fear is the expense of your invoices. And the terror and the torture is the actual visits to you. And you do that through generation after generation, and, everybody's tied into that loop. And I put that together with, how does the Inquisition continue in our society today? Well, that's it. Welcome to your friendly family dentist. And I thought about, what Sweeney Todd popped into my head. I can't quite remember how that did happen now, but he was described as the demon barber of Fleet Street in London. And if anybody knows anything about the history of the barber, he was also the original dentist and surgeon, so there's a link there to the dentist. But what Sweeney Todd did was to murder his victims in his barber's chair by cutting their throats. And he did that for free, he didn't charge them any money, and they were very swiftly dispatched to next door's pie shop to Mrs. Lovett for inclusion in the pies for sale that day or the next day. So, in terms of your friendly family dentist, Sweeney Todd's got nothing on him,
God, shit. That's my final frontier, the whole dentist thing. Oh.
Yeah,
right.
And
I had to look at that one day. So hello.
Yeah, we were talking about Fleet Street and Fleet River running.
Fleet Street. Yeah, Fleet Street in London is named after an ancient river, which is no longer visible, but is still there under the city, under the streets. So the river, obviously, water being truth, and so this river is still there, but it's more of a trickle than a river. But there is a waterway that's still called the Fleet River, and that's underneath Fleet Street. And Fleet Street is also the centre of the media, the newspaper industry, the journalists in London as well. So again, yeah.
Fleet Street Mac.
And Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah.
But we didn't go there. We're not sure about that yet.
Yeah, and
paparazzi both ways, right?
Yeah, we were also talking about the red and the white. Now, because I brought up the war of... Really, what we're dealing with is here's Star Wars, or Stir Wars, if you will, the war of the divine feminine masculine.
The war of the roses.
War of the roses, and you have the white rose and the red... Right. You got York and Lancaster. What's the mountain range that separates them, Ninja?
Yeah, that's the Pennine Range, the Pennine Mountains.
Okay, what is
the
Pennine?
Mean? Yeah, you told me today, and I can't remember already.
Well, it means head. It's I believe it comes out of Welsh.
It's like Pendragon, the head.
Yeah,
the head.
Pineal.
Yep.
Yeah, Uther Pendragon. Now, and of course, you have Pen, which is the head or heaven heaved up, right? And nines, consciousness, divine feminine, because the S at the end of it is the divine feminine Kundalini.
Yeah,
so you have
Pennines.
The heaven of consciousness, divine feminine, and of course it's the highest point between the House of York and the House of Lancaster. There's your War of the Roses. Now, take the word rose, and it comes up everywhere. This is why it was coming up in the Post, why it was coming up. What's the name of the church in Scotland?
I know. Yeah, no. I know which one you mean.
Rose, Kirk.
It has rose in it, but here's the joy of what rose is.
Kirkrow.
What's that?
Kirkrow?
No, it's
no? Okay.
It could be Rosemary, St. Rosemary or something. Anyway, but rose as a word is, here we go, two of them, R-O--S-E, right? Let's use the Greek way of saying it, Greek and Latin, ro and se, okay? Ro, spirit breath, se of himself, herself, itself. So what it is, when you're talking of the rose, like the Rhodes child and the Rockefellers, right? Change the spellings up, change the sounds. Don't follow the rules. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's Rosslyn Chapel.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Rosalind, right? Ro. There's the spirit breath again. So, and it's always got. Look at the focus on the roses in royalty. Mm-hmm. Now, what happened to the carnation? Right? See, carnation to me is a divine feminine. So it's more allegory. What do we? Instead of looking at things literally, it's looking at them. What is the story that's trying to be told beyond?
Whoops.
Yeah, interesting, huh? Kate gets bumped when we start talking about Rosslyn Chapel in Scotland.
That's weird.
I'm just going to put on a song and give her a chance to get back and gather her thoughts, okay?
Sure, but anybody's interested in the allegory of the roses, at the moment on BBC, there's the White Queen. It's full of it. They're putting it out in daylight.
Yeah.
And it's been very well done. There's a lot of witchcraft and ancient lore and everything. It's yum.
You know, after the Oslo bombing, 22nd of July, the Prime Minister held a ceremony where all the people, they got a rose each, and then they stood there waving the rose over their head. Huh. And if you Google, you have under the rose, it means deception. It's it's an old
the yellow rose especially, trickery, mastery, deception.
So sub-rosa, if you Google sub, S-U-B, rosa, then you will find it.
Cool. Check that out.
So, yeah, it's been an interesting day with one thing and another, and
yeah, the dots are everywhere.
Yeah. I'll tell you how it started with me today, actually. I got something through the post, just a free magazine thing that arrived, and I happened to flick through it and saw a picture of lots of Swiss flags and some kind of brass marching band thing. And I thought, oh, we've been talking about Switzerland a lot lately, haven't we? And so that caught my eye, the Swiss flags everywhere. But it was in a village in Holland, these Swiss flags, and this band, and it was in the local thing. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And the name of the group that was doing this performance that was photographed was something to do with William Tell.
Okay.
And it hit me, will them tell you. Yeah, we'll tell you, we'll show you everything, you know. So and that took me onto the Red Cross Switzerland thing. It took me onto the barber stripes, the spiral red and white stripes, the barber symbol, you know, and then and it went on to the Sweeney Todd thing, and that's how it ended up back to the dentist thing. So
how about the arrow through the apple?
Yeah,
it goes back to the red and white stop sign as well.
Yeah. We have to. Welcome back.
yeah, and we have also the Red Cross is an octagon, right? This is all about that whole stopping symbol, right? I just want to do a little shout out here as well. I just got your message there, Sue. You're more than welcome for the ad, and glad that you are listening. And I got to say, everyone that's tuning in, especially in the last 2 or 3 weeks, you guys are getting the creme de la creme of countless hours and literal years of research that is finally coming to the point where the illusions are falling in rapid fashion. Once we begin to see the allegories, and I got to be like right, blunt about this. I don't know how I missed it this long. Even listening like Donahue and the allegories, and Santo and the allegories of the Bible, and writing songs, metaphors and allegories, and it was like I was too close to the forest and the trees, carrying all the firewood. And so I decided to set the firewood down so I could actually see it for a change. But we are in realms right now that we have not been in for a very long time. And this is one of the things, too. Don't ever consider me a teacher. Don't ever consider me anything but a part of you. You see, because everything that we're finding and everything that we're sharing across these tables that we sit at, this beautiful table, huge round table, are all things that we already knew and just forgotten. That's why when I ask for people to come into the show, I need to be reminded of some things as well. And that's how we do this. This is the joy of sitting across a table in complete neutrality. We're sitting across, there's no preconceived notions, no one's trying to, well, I'm smarter and better and all. No. There's none of that shit at this table. All right, you want that, head off to some other, fear porn, truther, radio, whatever. And don't get me wrong, because I'll show you the good side of someone like Alex Jones. He's bringing all these stories out, but they're allegories. Problem is, they're not being displayed as that. They're being displayed as literals. But the truth is, everything that you look at, there, is both fear porn and truth porn at the same time.
He's handing us toys.
Yep.
But for someone else, it's a bomb.
Exactly. One man's treasure is another man's garbage, and that's exactly how it works. So always keep in mind the allegories. Don't look at it literally. Yeah, see what it is for sure, but remember, you're dealing in the past. You're looking at what was, not what is. The only thing that can be created is from within you, and you have to get out of this time illusion by closing your eyes, shutting up, and getting deep. Spend a little time with you. Once you get there and you can see your little dragonfly, well, with me, I'm a dragonfly. It's beautiful. was it you, Bindi, that mentioned it? Yeah, B?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we all have our natural callings, and isn't it funny that, I've always had this fascination with dragonflies my whole life, and I got one on my back and a tattoo, right? So, and lo and behold, I got to see it for the first time 2 days ago, where it really, I could see me. It was beautiful. It was this stunning little gold dragonfly energy. It was just incredible. It was beautiful. Anyway, sorry. It was neat. It's like when you start finding parts of you that you haven't seen for a very long time. It's quite something.
And who else likes dragonflies? Hello.
I love them. Absolutely, they are good to have around. Taking insects. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys get the concept of mirroring the doubts?
Mirroring
I did, for sure. Yeah, the doubts. Doubt fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plant your own doubts and watch you negate them. It's great. Oh, we have Colleen. Hey. Colleen, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I love dragonflies, too. I have a big collection of dragonflies.
Nice.
When you had said about the rose and the chapel, and I remembered the Rosalind Chapel from different readings and also from the Da Vinci Code. And I just looked up rose. I use rose a lot in clearing energy, and I actually find it very powerful and very able to clear negative energies.
Yeah, you just triggered a rose by any other name is still a rose with me. A spirit breath of the divine feminine by any other name is still that. So we get to choose. See, it's all there. I mean, Sir Francis Bacon, a.k.a. William Shakespeare, a.k.a. Christopher Marlowe, secret agent, are all the same being. It's all encoded.
And my favorite perfume
is rose.
Is rose, yes. I won't name which brand it is, but it's a commercial one, but it's beautiful and I love it.
Right on.
Well, I make my own with essential oils, and I love the Rose Otto with sandalwood. It's
nice.
It's heavenly, yes. But I just looked this up, and it says Rose Line is a fictional name given to the Paris meridian and to the sunlight line, defining the exact time of Easter on the genome of Saint Sulpice, marked by a brass strip on the floor of the church in the Priory of Sion mythology, where the two are conflated. The fictional name Rose Line was also popularized by Dan Brown in 2008 novel The Da Vinci Code. And then Rosalind Chapel's entrance was more modest than Langdon expected. The small wooden door had 2 iron hinges and a simple oak sign, Rosalind. The ancient spelling, Langdon, explained to Sophie, derived from the Rose Line meridian on which the chapel sat, or as Grail academics preferred to believe, from the line of the rose, the ancestral lineage of Mary Magdalene. And the other night I pulled the card from the Mary Magdalene tarot. But there's so many synchronicities today too. I was on with
before you carry, I was going to say, before you carry on, there's one more thing that jumped in when you were talking about the brass line. That would explain the brass ring put through the nose of the bull, the Taurian bull. Sorry, there's a whole other concept there. Carry on. That's beautiful.
Do you want to go into that a little more?
No. Maybe when we roll over. We got before I want you to continue, Colleen. Before we go, I just want to do my shout out to Critical Mass. criticalmassradio.co.uk. Thanks, Paul, Giovanni, and Lisa, and the rest of the crew Critical Mass for this platform. And of course, thank you to those who have been supporting and helping. Yeah, it's up to you guys to keep us on the air. Well, that's just the way it is. So if you can help, great. And that doesn't mean just money. That means put your intent there. Get the word out. If you can't, then, the word out. Somebody that comes aboard and gets what we're doing and has the means to help will help. So that's how we do this. We do this together. It's teamwork all the way down the line. Right? We're in the home stretch, guys. I know, because I've been hanging by this oiled thread for a couple of years now, and my fingers are sore. That's the truth. But I will cling. I will cling as long as I have to the last breath to make sure we get this carried through. That's why I'm here. I didn't come here for second place, and I certainly didn't come here to lose. So, sorry, I'm kind of at that point. We do this together. So. And I'm going to bring Mim in as well, but carry on, Colleen.
There's just a little more on here. It says, Dan Brown simply invented the rose line, linking Roslyn and Glastonbury. The name Roslyn definitely does not derive from any hallowed rose line.
I'm going to be on the radio here in just a second, so you're going to have to be quiet. Okay.
You already are, Mim. Sorry, okay.
The name Roslyn...
I was going to say, go back again.
Name Roslyn, definitely. Okay.
Yeah, start again.
Okay. Dan Brown simply invented the rose line linking Roslyn and Glastonbury. The name Roslyn definitely does not derive from any hallowed rose line. It has nothing to do with a rose bloodline or a rose line meridian. There are many medieval spellings of Roslyn. Roslyn is certainly not the original spelling. It is now the most common spelling for the village. And then down here it just says that while Dan Brown presents the rose line as the world's first prime meridian, the idea of establishing a prime meridian dates back to antiquity, with suggested meridians running through Rhodes or the Canary Islands. When Greenwich was adopted as the universal zero longitude in 1884, it had at least 9 rivals beside Paris, and those rivals were Berlin, Cadiz, Copenhagen, Lisbon, Rio, Rome, St. Petersburg, Stockholm, and Tokyo.
Imagine that. Nothing like gridding the planet, eh?
Yes.
Oops,
but earlier today...
Go ahead, did we catch them? Go ahead, whoever was jumping in.
That was me. I thought we had a natural pause there. I just realised that on the subject of the rose and roses, what the statues and other images of the Virgin Mary have at the feet?
That's right.
Spirit
the
breath
rose.
Of the Divine Trinity. Rose. Yeah. That's what wines are. Look, the water into wine, the wine of truth from the pineal. And a nice balanced red and white is called rosé.
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 How about rosé beads? Rose beads.
The rosary. Yeah.
The rosary.
Yeah.
Energy. Okay. That's brilliant power.
All right, we're starting to see how everything is fitting into everything now. That you just follow your nose, babies. Follow your nose. It'll lead you home. Look at the connections. There was at least 20 connections just came out of that one thing. And they all went to Rome. Rome. Right? Welcome to
today.
This is my world. This is where I've lived for so long. Oh, it's so beautiful to watch you guys. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. I know.
But today when I joined Ninja and Bindi and her name and many others on the call with Lisa, and you ended the call talking about the spirit breath, pretty much. Do you remember, Kate?
That's the key to this game. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And so when it was over, I was sitting here and I have a deck of cards that's called the Tao of the Equus, or the Way of the Horse.
Yes.
And riding between the world.
Guess there was a play I was in, the only professional production play I had a chance to be in, and guess what it was called?
The Tao of the Equus.
Equus.
The Way of the Horse.
No, it was just Equus, right?
Equus,
And I got to play one of the horses. Isn't that cool? Go on.
Well, it's the riding between the worlds, expanding our potential through the way of the horse. And I'm kind of gone through a challenge with, we have a horse, we have a thoroughbred, his name's Jeremy, and my daughter hasn't been riding him much. She's 18 and gone off to college, so...
That's my nephew's name, by the way. Keep going.
Jeremy, which
I only
means gifts from God.
Yes. Keep going.
So I'm allowing him to go. They want to take him over to the equestrian program at one of the private schools here in Ojai. So it's kind of a bittersweet thing. I know he'll be taken really good care of, and he's not far away. But so when we hung up from your call, from your interview with Lisa, I pulled the first card I pulled, and it was number 27, which is my birthday, and which equals a 9, and that number 9 is in my energy field since I can remember.
It's my sister's birthday today, by the way, 27th. Just let you know. Keep going. That's her son Jeremy. Keep going.
Okay, so number 27 is Merlin's Spirit. And you just finished the call talking about the spirit breath, and this is Merlin's Spirit. And it's redemption of the masculine, mutual transformation, and the new hero's journey. And the picture is 2 stallions at the top of the hill with their noses together, standing on a pile of rocks. And it says, 2 stallions, father and son, meet on common ground. The heart between them gathers strength as they share the breath of life. Hope springs from the depths of an ancient wound, causing even the stones to weep. The gift, the power, and gentleness find a new way to coexist, balance, and finally heal the immense injustices perpetrated by and on the masculine body, mind, and spirit. The challenge: true masculinity has been twisted, tortured, and betrayed by a culture of conquest and consumerism. It's hard to fathom what a peaceful, healthy form of virility might look like. To have any hope of changing the world, men and women must re-evaluate and re-socialize the active masculine principle within their own families and their own psyches, a task requiring significant soul-searching and imagination. I'll stop there on that.
Well, here's a question for you. You mentioned it in there about the stone.
Yes.
What was the line again? I'm going to show you something really neat.
It says, hope springs from the depths of an ancient wound, causing even the stones to weep. Stones to weep.
What that is saying, here's the allegory, what you just said there. Only by removing all of the garbage, destroying everything that is garbage, illusion, only when you do that, clear the ramp, will the stone be allowed to weep. And the stone, as Moses struck where the waters of truth came forth, is the pineal. And the waters, the weeping, the tears, are the wines that pour forth from the pineal. That's the water into wine. Okay, so just to give you how to look a little deeper into the mystical allegories, and they are everywhere. You cannot look, I'm telling you, I can't look anywhere without going, oh yeah, all the time. Constant. It doesn't matter. Everything for a reason. All things.
Yes, and I was thinking of you when I I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, take that literally, okay? Take the allegory,
Yes.
all ego re, all the ego taking over re, or the ancient name of Ra, which is the sun of or the light of creation, not the one in the sky. That is an exterior consciousness beating in the heart of a galaxy. You see, okay? We have our own universes within in a fractal. So when you worship the sun, as the Egyptians did, outside of themselves, what they were doing was denying their own light within, and had been trapped in the physical meets the game over and over. Planted the seed of doubt within humanity, reinforced it with their pyramids and their smart meter, gold-capped control mechanisms that were based on the geometric math, and you can look across it and see Horus, the Eye of Horus, in a cross-section, which is a cross-section of the human brain, which is everywhere. That's the thing. When you start seeing the fractal nature of the as above, so below, you will see it everywhere. And it is magnificent. There's that mag again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think it was yesterday, Kate, you said about the power of attraction. It's not that. It's the power of creation.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, attracting means you're after something that's already created.
Yeah.
So let's turn that law around to what it really is. You know, that was in the Kabbalion too, law of attraction, right? So no, that's close, but that'll keep you engulfed in the physical illusion. And I talked with MJ and Ninja last night, a little bit after the show when the show got knocked out, and that's one of the wars that this is my war of the roses inside. You see. Because I'm caught between worlds. In creation, knowing that I am a creator, yet I have such disdain for the trap that we're in the physical. So you see where my war is? I don't want to be tainted. I never, and we came to the conclusion, and I agreed that I can't be tainted. I know this now. I can say I'm ready for creation now. Mm-hmm. Baby steps, still baby steps, but I'm ready, and that's a big step for me.
Okay, that's a really powerful. Sorry, Benny. That's a really powerful statement of why attract what's already out there instead of creating ourselves. Just to really go deep in that, because everything we see is already out there, created either by us or which is, everybody else too.
Yeah, what is new?
So that's a deep one.
Yeah. Excuse me. What is new? You knew.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's why we are not learning anything new. There is nothing new under the sun. There's only
under the sun. No.
There is only knowing. Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have to hinge on the slightly backtracking to the tongue against the roof of your mouth. So it's, there's another part to that little tool. You want me to
keep going?
Elaborate?
Okay.
Oh, please. Scorpio is pretty much about glands and the sexual region. I'm going to stick to the glands for a while yet. The rest will come later. Part of a meditation you can do. It's a tool to zap your brain into a higher state of thinking, as well as the left and right gets a zap, an extra boost. When you put your tongue against the roof of your mouth on the, let's say, the happy spot, if at the same time you close your eyes, visualize a cord coming from the depth of the earth, going straight up your spine, splitting at the back of your head across both amygdalas. Do you know where they are? The amygdala?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Just imagine or visualize that golden cord is splitting and goes right across the amygdala from the back to the front, slightly up to the pineal. Do that and tell me what sensation you can feel. When you're breathing, just breathe the cord up and front.
One other thing I will say about the amygdala or amygdala, there's two sides of it, And
yep.
when we arrive here, when we're born into these bodies, that the amygdala is think of a gas, like a gas gauge meter on a car, from full to empty. And when we get here, it is completely empty. What gets stored in there are all the negative energies. And what happens is when we have a situation of fight or freeze, there's like think of the gas gauge going from where it should be on empty, the void. What happens is it starts to rise and starts to rise, and it literally fills. So what we need to do, and this was a neat technique that came across a couple of years ago, is what you just said, Bindi.
Mm-hmm.
Do this first, then do this. What you said. This is what resonated with me. What you do is you visualize little tubes. If you have to find, and you should try to look at a picture of where the amygdala is. It's like just in front of it's in the center on both sides, just in front of the reptilian brainstem, under each cortex. And what you want to do is you want to visualize like a little tube piercing into the amygdala, okay, and take all of that. Think of it like a black viscous oil. Just get the visual. You're creating this because you're inside. Your eyes are closed, so you're inside. You're actually creating this. So when you put these little tubes in, what you want to do is pull them out and visualize where all of this energy came from. Right? It doesn't matter. As soon as you pick your target, just give it back and do it like you're spraying it out of this tube, and just literally spray it all back to where it came from. And then get the visual of the amygdala setting, and it goes to empty again. You have to empty it. And I'm so glad you brought that up because I haven't touched on that in about 2 years. And it's critical. Just like the thymus gland that's your aging. Time, us, no thanks. We're gonna stop with the time thing here. So empty that first. Now you got the visualization little tubes just coming out of the side of your head spiritually, and just. I used to love, spray painting the chief and the mayor and stuff like that. Just give it all back to them. That's where it was all coming from, the courts and all the rest of it. So I just gave it back. You have a very serene feeling about it. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do again, Bindi, is go back through what you just said.
Right, because I wasn't completely finished.
Yeah. Start it again, right from the top.
Yes. Okay, the amygdala. Slight explanation, because it's part of the visualization. The amygdala is an almond-shaped gland. Just imagine 2 almonds slightly above your head, around that thick bit of your skull. There they are. They're like a switch. On top of the amygdala is like a light switch. It can go forward or backwards. When it's backwards, you're in fight or flight mode. You can feel that in your body. Everything goes tense tight, and your ego goes rrr. Everybody knows this point. Now, a lot of us think, but how do I flip out of that without going out of flip, Now, this is a meditation that will immediately get you out of it. Because when it's flipped backward, you're in all the programs. When you flip forward, you're into creative mode. You're into cooperational creative mode. It is not just you creating, but everybody around you goes into a more co-creative state. So the golden energy you pull up from the center of the earth and from the center of our galactic circle, Alcyone, whatever you want to call it. Make sure there's a point outside you and under you. Breathe it in, whichever color you like. I usually go for gold. Why not? Click it forward in the amygdala, and think literally click forward if you like, to help yourself. That's how when I hear myself going click forward, sometimes I hear that even before my ego slows down. That's how ingrained it becomes if you use it a lot. And for me, I started to feel a tingling at the sides of my ears. My amygdala started to feel nice, and my brain started to pop regularly. New neurons form. This is the hard wiring. Neurons into the cooperative creative state start forming if you do this regularly, together with the tongue against the roof of your mouth and breathing through the thymus gland, actually breathing through the entire endocrine system. Breathe through it, revitalize it, and turn back the time, or just cancel time.
Cancel it. Yeah, neutralize it.
Yep.
And we have Joe in the call. How are you, Joe? Just wait for her to unmute.
Hi. Yeah, I was on mute.
No worries, hon. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Thank you. Having a great time listening in and being stimulated by all the ieas.
Mm.
Yeah, we're in a good one tonight again.
Well, the more that you do that with your tongue, I mean, I find myself that my tongue is there all the time. It just is very calming, and it's really the divine nectar flows then, the ambrosia, and it's that where you see so many other dimensions, especially when I'm out in nature, and it's that whatever that is with the tongue on the roof of your mouth. I learned that years ago with a Hindu Vedic teacher and in meditation, and I would just so recommend that to everyone to just try that and see. It just feels so natural that you'll find that, at least for myself, that's where my tongue always is when I'm not talking, or which I try not to do too much anymore. Believe it or not.
Me too.
Yes, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Chatty Cathy. Sorry, guys. It's just the way it is, you know?
Yeah.
But, there's, here it is. I mean, it's nights like tonight that come along, and they've been coming along a lot lately, that all this does is it keeps removing more and more doubt. And I know not just from me, but from everybody. Because you come on, tell me you're not getting your click moments. You're not going, aha, a lot more now than you were a month ago. I know I am.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling, the layers.
But it's a really, it just feels like it's not like that kind of real dramatic aha, at least for me. It's that very peaceful, knowing aha.
Yeah,
it's that. Sense? Like,
yeah, it's subtle. It's like
Yes.
Well, yeah, where they used to be, oh my God, and went to
yes.
and now it's like
Mm-hmm. We're in that time. We're in that time that I've been saying for quite a while, that everything in the universe, from all time, knowledge is available to every single one of us. We just have to know how to connect into it. Everything we want to know is available to us. We don't have to go to universities and have all these degrees behind our name. In fact, we probably don't even want to. I know I don't even want to have any of those degrees myself, because
no, that's just proof of ego.
Yes, and you're stuck in the box.
Yeah, look how big my ego is. I've got a PhD and a master's and a Bachelor of Science and glad to hear it. What you're telling everybody is that you can regurgitate someone else's work better than your own originality. You're deeper trapped in the game, and if it sounds like a bit of an ego insult, well, it's because it is. Look how far away from you got. Look how distant you got from your divine spirit, and look what a beautiful job they've done in duping us into actually doing that of our own consent, our own free will. So it's we're in a new game now. The game is ours.
Yes.
It was only ours to win or lose. So.
Good evening, Kate. Can you hear me? It's Mim.
Hey, Mim, how are you? You've been open the line for a while. I've been waiting for you to jump in.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, I've just been waiting for the right moment. Not only with you guys, you're in such a beautiful flow, and oh my gosh, the zone and the frequency and the energy is just wow. It is. The only thing I can say is such a sweet spot. I know this place, and it is exactly. Is it Bindi or Ninja that's speaking?
We got Bindi and Ninja and Colleen and Joe, and we had Stola. Let me just make sure we've got, who else we got? It looks like Stola had to leave. But yeah, that's you got the crew in here tonight. So yeah,
well, I've kind of been in and out, but when I was in earlier, I wanted to jump in, and it wasn't the time. But I wanted to let you know that I was sharing with someone about orgone last night. And this was an older person, and trying to explain to them what orgone does and how, it protects from the EMFs, the ELFs, and all of that. And when I explained to him about, you can even take a copper rod and put it in the ground, outside your window and run the wire in and attach it to, the bed or something in your room. Sometimes they have these sheets that, have these strips on them that will continue to protect you and give you this beautiful energy all night long. And anyway, this man who's in his 80s said, well, that reminds me about when I was young and everybody used to put lightning rods up on their home. I said, yeah. I said, you could teach people how to do that, and that would be another way of helping to ground their home and to ground them and, to help fight these dangerous orgone energies that are out there. And excuse me for turning my car off here to stop so I can have some quiet and some air because it's been like 97 degrees here today. But anyway, so you guys were talking about lightning rods, and then you were talking about the rose and the essential oils, and I make essential oils, and so it reminded me about the rose oil is the highest of something called sesquiterpenes, which help people when they're in trauma to get past that trauma, to be able to go beyond that and go on with life. And it's I'm going to jump in there. I'm sure you know about this too, but might be new to some people.
Consciousness oil?
What's that?
Isn't it the rose, using it as healing as well as oil? The rose,
rose,
Christ consciousness energy.
Yes, it is.
It is allowed to be.
The smell of the rose, that's why we love it and why it's this, romantic thing that we have, with the flower of the rose, is because it has, when we smell it, it has a healing ability in the frequency of it. And there's a couple of others, Angelica and Melissa and Helichrysum, I think, are three of the others that are all high, but rose was the highest.
Yes.
From what I learned.
That's the oil I use. I do hospice work. I sit with the dying and I massage the dying, and that's the one that I use is the rose. And I can come in the room, and it can be the whole family there, or just the hospice patient, or the workers, and if they're not in their home. And I come in and I clear the energy with a beautiful, pure, high vibration rose oil, and immediately everyone says, "What happened? What a difference!"
Wow.
So yeah,
I did the same.
It's a powerful oil.
Ward. Yeah.
Yes.
With rose quartz, I just had a big ball with me and cleared it all.
Mhm.
So the oil does basically the same thing. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's just been so many things that you've mentioned. I can't remember all of them now. I was driving and I was thinking, okay, now I got to remember, there was these 2 or 3 things. But, it's just been such a beautiful, peaceful, calming, uplifting flow in the conversation. Even it's gotten stronger right up until I came on. It's just wonderful. I have a relative that's my children's age in our family that has been dealing with colon cancer for the last year and been in and out of, chemotherapy and all that. And they were recently, in the last few weeks, told that, things are not good. And so they've gone to a couple of different locations for additional, secondhand advice. And it was interesting because my sister and I were praying this morning, and the things that we prayed were that this relative and their mate would find that throughout the day they would feel the presence of their Creator with them and bringing that calming, that peace that is beyond words or explanation. And there was the husband of this young woman wrote something. We had no idea the gift of this young man to write the way that he did, and to restate some experiences over the last couple of days when he's left the hospital and gone for walks. And I'm sorry, we have like a popsicle truck around here or something.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to the music. It's for a reason.
It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
Oh my! What's the significance of that?
Yes. How many reindeer were? Hang on, guys. How many reindeer were there when you add Rudolph? With a bright red nose, no less. There's 9. What is 9 mystically?
Yes, the divine feminine.
Well, it's the sweets truck, the ice creams and the desserts. But anyway, the husband of this young woman, her husband wrote this most incredible. It was like, remember when we used to watch the Waltons and John Boy would narrate the guy that was,
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he would narrate the story? It was like that, and and everything he said was the stuff that we prayed for them. And I was crying and laughing at the same time. Just such incredible tears of joy of him explaining, the sequence of events that happened over the last couple of days where he received the answers to some things that he was needing. And it was just, oh my gosh. Anyway, just beautiful. And, I have to tell you, Kate, this gift of you having this ability to speak and teach and say these things that you're saying, and the way that people are coming in and flowing and bringing in their pieces, it's just, oh my gosh, it's inspirational. It's exciting, it's uplifting, but it's energizing, even while you're being calmed down and being, it's settling people down, but it's energizing them and make it, in fact, when Bindi, am I right, was explaining, or Ninja, about the hypothalamus and going through the meditation, and Kate, you were talking about imagining, that resin or that dark flow,
from the amygdala.
I'm telling you, I was just experiencing it, and it was just bringing such. That was one more thing. I was going to say lucidity, but the orgone that I've been making. I mean, I'm not good at this or anything, but I've done my first course, and I gave some to my mom and my sister about a week ago, and every day I've asked them, have you put it under your pillow, and are you sleeping with it, and are you noticing that you're having dreams? Today, my sister said for the first time she had a very vivid dream, and she was able to tell me all the details of it.
Very cool.
So there's just a lot of stuff that's happening, and it just seems like every day the frequencies are more consistent in that high,
One of the things that I want to share in order for people to maintain that, and it was when you were saying about being able to share this and speak it and whatever. The only thing that resonated with me in that moment was this, and I know it's key for everybody. Only when we become, and I'm trying to, because I'm trying to analyze, or whatever you want to call it, watching all these beautiful beings, other parts of me and you, all of us coming together. The only way you can have a creation is to create a void. And the only way to create a void is to completely open up. Like, that's why the note of love is C, right? C is the open void of creation. O is closed circle where the C, the note of love, just a coincidence, by the way, is open. So what? Here's the download just coming in. It's when you can open up to the unconditional love, become that note of sea. You become the sea, a wide open sea, where all ships, minds, boats, with oars, where we can all row our own ships, minds, boats, merrily. There's that merrily again, right? Mare, sea, horse, knight, mare. It's all there. My dive gear, mares, mares. Everything I've done mattered. This is why I know. There is no room for doubts any longer. There hasn't been for a while. There is always questioning, absolutely, because I will never be so arrogant as to say outright that there's part of ego coming in too, right? Playing it safe, but is I get caught between spirituality and egos when I'm on the air, right? And this is one of the fundamental reasons I don't like asking for help, because, and we talked about this last night, because of the perceived, what the ego perceives is, well, she's just doing it to make money, and she's just this and that. And I've heard it all before. I've been attacked numerous times of, you've got multiple donate buttons. No, I don't. I don't have any. And actually, the one I did have was controlled by the one that was not this station, the one I was on before. And who knows how much went in, because that was standard up. I've all the background on it, where it was anything that was coming into that station was, 1 for you, 100 for me, 2 for you, 200 for me, right? That kind of thing going on. So, and of course, that was one of the beings that came out and said I had multiple donate buttons, which I didn't have. I don't have. I actually, on my old blog page, I had one, and I actually had it disabled. Right? So anyone that wants to help me, I make it very difficult. I really do. And that is deliberate. It's like, okay, fine, if you want to help me, here's what you have to do in order to get to me. I want to take myself out of that loop altogether. So that's how adamant I am about this. Yeah, I need help. There's no question. I do. I've put it out to the universe. There's the one side of it. The other side of it is, sorry, go ahead.
No, on that vein, I have to share this before the call's over. The other card I pulled was the Messenger, and I won't go into detail about it, but it's a white horse. And I thought of you when I pulled it, the Messenger. It's a white horse with flashing purple wings. Nice. And the bottom part, it says, and I thought for you, the gift is a higher source of wisdom taps well springs of inspiration and energy, connecting you more deeply to your soul's purpose. And the challenge to engage with this powerful archetype, you must be willing to ask for help and embody the wisdom and power of the horse.
I totally agree, and that's what we talked about last night, and that's where I finally came to terms with. And this is what, Ninja, you can back me up on this. MJ and Ninja and myself were talking, and what it can, and I had to go through it to answer for myself. And my only concern was, with me, is I don't want to ever be perceived as being tainted. And then MJ came right out and said, "Taint you? Get tainted? Ain't gonna happen." and
right.
I had to bow to that. I said, no, you're right, I won't. I've had many opportunities in my life where I've had the universe handed to me musically in ways that I could have, you probably might have heard of me in a whole different way, but it would have been tainted. It would have involved giving up my children, my songs, right? The only way I can give birth, right?
Would you say that the ones that taint you or feel that that's why you're doing it aren't meant to be here, at least not at this time?
Well, I agreed, and I've went through all these different scenarios that the justify, not justify, and someone's looking for their kitty, cat, or dog.
But just staying totally open, your heart open, all of our hearts open. But I would want to just tell everyone that it's Coleman coleman.victoria@gmail.com. I sent her something today, and I'm waiting for a response. Yes,
well, thanks, hon. Like I said, I haven't heard from Victoria today.
Yeah.
She gets busy, and she's got her husband and daughter, and
sure.
She's got a busy lifestyle and whatever. It's just
yes, I thanked her so much for doing that for you, being the point of contact for all of us. It's very much appreciated.
I look forward every week to my hour and a half where I can just sit and have a coffee with her and chat. Right, and really, I've got Jim down a ways. He's an hour 20 minutes one way, and an hour and 20 the other. Right, so it doesn't matter wherever I go. I've got typically a 200-kilometer round trip to get just to go and hang out with people I know and that know me, and which is great. It's fine. But
we have your back. We have your back, which is all of our backs too. Right.
Well, you know I'm going to cover it. There's no question. No one gets to you guys except through me. Sorry.
Right.
Sounds a little religious, doesn't it? No one gets to the creation except through me.
Well, we're all our own warrior, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. Well, so let me put it out to the universe then that I am wide open to that because I know in my own heart I cannot be tainted. Regardless.
We're journeymen together.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I guarantee you, and I've done this my whole life, it will go out and be fruitful and multiply whatever comes in, without question.
It already has. Look at all of us on the call here.
Yep.
No,
all for one and one for all.
Absolutely. Alexander Dumas, love the man. Wrote a couple of good books, but so that's been very difficult for me. But here it is, and if there's one thing that I could share that I would call the quote secret unquote as to downloading is to become a completely open vessel, to let all things in. And I'm not talking, well, I'm going to take that little good thing and that bad thing goes away. No, you got to let it all in. You bring it all in to change the whole creation. You can't change parts of it and expect the other parts to change. That's not how this works. There it is, all for one and one for all. We got to do all. It's got to, love thine enemies. And this movie that we're a part of, and that's all it is. Life is but a dream. It's
13 trumpets.
Exactly. It's our spiritual test. Can we see past the nonsense? Can we finally rein in and control the evil program to have this full experience where we cannot be claimed spiritually? And the only way I can see doing that is to be unconditional. That you get in the stream, you get in the flow, you get in the row your boat gently down the stream, and you let the boat take you. And the joy of it is what I see happening now is so many people are, and this boat getting big, it's beautiful. That boat is mind, right? The bark of Ra, the vessel we journey in. And everyone that's in this boat is not only looking for an oar, they're actually bringing spares. Because we know there's going to be more. We don't think this anymore. At least I don't. Because I'm looking at things and just... Facebook is a beautiful, beautiful gauge because I'm watching, and here's the neat thing too. Almost half, as soon as I found out that Facebook, you can max out at 5,000. That's where you get to, right? And for the longest time, what am I right now? Here's how many people we have sitting around the Facebook table with us. 2,000 directly contacted and connected to me. 2,447 people. We're almost halfway home. You see what I'm saying? And once I'm telling you, I know this for a fact, once we hit halfway home, the song's going to resonate. And it's going to go exponential. So we're a total of 53 away from being halfway home, and there's infinity, right? We are a mere infinity away from getting halfway home. And that's not to put limitations on it. This is allegorical. It's a musical thing for me. But see the effect that's going on? And people come and friend requests, whatever. I don't see that as for me. It's not. I see that as for this table. This is our table. And it's you guys. You all show up and you bring the potluck truth buckets that you have found, and this table gets dressed with it. This is the dressing of the sacred spring, right? This table gets set with these infinite truths that can never be emptied because they are infinite. And everyone that comes to the table, new and old, that have been at the table for a while. Here we are. We're just chugging away on all this truth, and the table's still getting bigger and bigger. This cornucopia is just exploding. And isn't it great to know that what you guys bring to the table, what I bring to the table, and everyone new coming in, they can come without anything in terms of truth that they've discovered. But I guarantee you, after sitting down for a couple of meals with us, they're going to be bringing their own buckets. And this table is just going to have to keep getting bigger, infinitely bigger. But all I would say is open up. Resistance is futile. To resist something is to make it persist. I'm done with the sores. Let's get rid of them. Become an open conduit. Just be open. And watch this universe change. And it's a twinkle of an eye. And I look at it changing daily. Olympus has fallen. That's the code word for the White House collapsing. Allegorically, that is the collapsing of the rule of the patriarchal, especially when the top of the Washington Monument gets severed. You just seen the penis of Peter getting cut right in half. It was beautiful and balanced at the same time. Osiris just had his winky taken right off. All right? So, I mean, these allegories continue, and that's all they are now. That's all I see. And it's astonishing. And I know you guys are really starting to see these things, and those little seeds of doubt that were planted in us so well and so deep are now getting cast aside, and we're planting our own seeds. So if you're going to do something that you can do, just tell yourself that you can't do it, and listen to yourself. Oh yeah, I can. Say something that you've done for a very long time. Said I can't do that. I'm unable to do that, and listen to that voice saying, "What do you mean? It's easy. You've done it." Right? That's how we recondition that doubt seed. Start building on our powers, our strengths, ourselves. We got to get in to get out. So be the open vessel. Row boat with the rest of us. Be open. Like I said, this is a rowboat. There's no superstructure or conning tower on this boat. It's a wide open vessel where anyone can climb in. Mind you, if you bring a lawn chair, I'm going to throw you in the water until you get rid of the lawn chair and bring an oar. I think that's only fair. We're all rowing together here. Mini download.
It's Min again.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring up this situation that keeps happening over and over and over, and ask if anybody else is having the same thing. All this past week and this week, number one, the numbers 11 was my number, and my birthday is the 27th also, and it was my granddaughter's birthday, the 27th today as well. So happy birthday to all those who have 27th. But the number 011. 111, 211, 311, 411 has come up repeatedly in that sequence. And the other thing that I've never seen before is that in the license plates, almost every car that passes me has got an X in it right now. And I was just going to tell you, in a car pulled in front of me with the XXT, like exit, that's what came to me. And you were just saying about that, the White House is coming down and this is the end and it's time for basically exit. So I just wanted to put those two things out there and just, maybe somebody else is experiencing the same thing. I'm just kind of curious if it's just me or, if others are having those particular things come up with them as well. And then I had two words for Ninja or Bindi. I can't remember which one does the words, but yesterday the word piffle, Piffle, came up on a license plate, and then today Rendezvous 2 came up, and I thought that was interesting.
Well, here's
and I'm going to mute out.
Oh, no, you're fine. Here's an interesting one, and it was a car that I had, when did I get my first one? I think it was 18. Yeah, I was 18 when I got it. First one, I had 2 of them. Go figure, I had to get 2. Duality, right? This was back, when I was about 18, 19. RX-7, the Mazda. Okay, let's put the dots together here. Uhura Mazda? Ring a bell, anybody? Thought it might. Ding, ding, ding. Now, of course I'm going to have a row key 7 or a key row 7. 7 being the divine God aspect. And row key, put it together. Right? So, there it is. There's the X and the P. We put, if you look at the letter R, it's actually an attempt to make a key row all by itself because it's spirit, right? Neat, eh? That's why it has a leg on it. The P with the leg. If you give it a leg on the other side and then 2 arms on top, you got yourself the key row symbol. So it's all there. No coincidences. And by the way, I never got them new. I can never afford them new. I always pick them up, and the ones I got, I had to fix up. But beautiful, beautiful little cars when I was done with them. Isn't it funny though? And they're only a 2-seater, duality, perfect duality, right? And what kind of engine does it have? A rotary engine. 12A and 13B were the 2 engine designations. It had a leading and a trailing plug for the 2 rotors that were inside it. It's all there. Oh my God. I told you everything. That actually just came to me. How freaky is that? There you go.
Well, I don't know, but when you were talking about that, it reminded me, when you were talking about, and I don't remember how you said it, but you were talking about being in the middle, and I think you were talking about, not taking sides and not resisting things, but being in the middle, and that
Absolutely.
place of just wu wei, no resistance, and things just flow. I'm going to mute out.
Yeah, they just flow. That's the thing. Oh, still May 24 weekend, is it? People still got fireworks going off. Lovely neighborhood. Anyway, it's about just, when you find your 0 point, when you get into that zone, go home, guys. Spend some time at home. Right? There, look at there's the H again. There's the divine trinity of the H. Om. Home. Go home. They're telling you. Home is where the heart is. That's where your creation center is. And I'm begging people to spend some time with themselves. And I said that to Ninja and Member last night. I am, here I am preaching it, and I don't spend nearly enough time focusing on anything that I would desire. I'll tell you, because any zone time that I take, I'm generally listening to Bill Donahue or Santo or watching a movie, and certainly not watching it to be entertained. I'm looking for all the little gems that are just popping out of it. That for me is entertainment. Watching these truths going ping, ping, ping off the walls, right? That's way more fun than any script you can see in a movie. But spend some time with you. You're the most beautiful, important, glorious aspect in creation. I know you are, because you're me.
You know what the best thing is about me being alone for a long time now? What hit me? It's a bit of ego that I just realized it.
It's okay. You've got it by the leash. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Once you get a hold of the ego, once you know where it is, I have one. I keep it on a leash. I tell you guys that.
Yeah.
And when one shows up, I just go fetch, right?
Yeah.
But again,
can I share it? Can I share it?
Please.
It's like happening. It just happened. It just hit me. The the way everybody's saying, well, it's perfect, the world is perfect. And I always had this little bit of negation with my ego. Said, well, it's not really, because why are their kids being abused? And, la 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 la, all the shit. And then I realized the allegory is perfect, not the physical world, not yet. And then the fight stopped.
That is the perfect way to put it. The physical illusion is distorted.
Yep.
Creation itself in allegorical form is stunningly, magically perfect.
Yep.
That sums it up. Thanks, Benny. That was perfect. Yep, I couldn't have said that any better.
It just smacked me upside the head. Thank you. This is my bonus for today. My ego just died down just that little bit more again today. Thank you.
Oh, hey, and that's the thing. It's the ego is a tool, and when we're ruled by it, we're the tool. So now what we're doing is we're taking that tricky little bastard axe that keeps, shredding us, and we've turned the tables in that temple. And the temple, of course, is heaven inside you. Kingdom is within you. That's where a little note out to any Christians looking to hate me. I listened to Jesus. I thought he was a pretty cool guy. I thought he had some amazing stuff to share. Absolutely. And of course you want to go to Churchianityville and listen to these scribes and Pharisees at the front. That's fine. That's those are the very people that Jesus was after. That's why they crucified him allegorically, right? Imagine that, eh? Wait a minute. Yeah, have a look at it. If you can lose the emotion and the program attachment, the Savior program, and take responsibility for your own sorry, shitty existence, like I had to, you'll feel better about it. Here, take a couple of truth pills and call me in the morning, shall you? By the way, drink your wee while you're knocking those pills back, and you'll have a grander awakening. It's like trying to share with people, especially religious, and and I've had this experience recently. This is it's very hard to argue with someone that says, Jesus Christ, you say is your Savior. Well, you might want to listen to the guy. And what he was actually saying. He said, "Don't worship me. You call me Lord, yet you will not do the things I tell you to do." They're too busy, worshiping. That's the Savior program. That's the one that shows up, in the boat with the lawn chair and the suntan oil and to meet the bottom of my 2-inch heel upside the head of my boots. Right? Boom. Oh, look at you! You're all wet in the waters of truth again. Spend a bit more time in there, and you'll feel better. I can't thank you guys enough. You see what I mean? This is why I'll do my little download thing and whatever early on, and we'll get things wrong. But this is what really needs to happen every night. We need this interaction, because I tell you, the stuff that all of you have shared has resonated to the very core, and has confirmed many things within me. What I knew, now it's not just there is no room for doubt. That's when I know that your 432 hertz A pitch bell is ringing in perfect harmony with mine, as mine is ringing with yours. Resonance travels the universe where sound cannot. That is the true vibration. Right? Silence is golden.
And that true vibration, that true vibration resonates in the heart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about you're talking about being home with yourself, and when you can really learn to be with yourself, you become in love with yourself. And our society had always taught that, that whole thing, if you love yourself, you're narcissistic, but that's where the true power is, when you learn to truly love yourself. Of course, there's those moments when this or that comes up, but to just want to be with yourself in that silence, in the peace. And I posted something last night. It was a shaman. It's on an ayahuasca trip, and the shaman is Don Juanito, and one of his quotes in this documentary was, "The only positive energy that truly exists is love, and the greatest expression of that is loving yourself." If you really get into that and you really feel that to love yourself, if you truly love yourself, then how could you not love every single other being?
And there's the trick too, if but one shall awaken.
Yep.
And the one that learns that is the one that awakens.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if it's me, it doesn't matter if it's you, but one is coming, and it's coming quickly.
In fact, Kate, there's a scripture, I think it's in Zephaniah, that it talks about in that day, the day of, the dawning of this age, when the sons of light arise, it says that there will be those who will be overcoming, victorious redeemers and saviors. There will be a company of those who were like Yeshua, the masters.
Well, I'm thinking if there's anywhere it's going to show up, I think we have the table set for them. So
You're doing a beautiful job. Beautiful. I'm with you. I resonated exactly with what you were just saying.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah, we have this game, and that goes without saying. Now there's no room for doubt, and we know how to plant the anti-doubt seed, planting the doubt seeds in the things that we've already accomplished. That's how we conquer that. I doubt I could drive a car. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, I can. I doubt I could fly. Yeah, I can fly. I can do that too. So start doubting all the things. This is how I broke a lot of programs, by mirroring them. I don't know why I didn't click on this, but I had to find the one pivot point of belief. And of course, the only thing that belief gives you is a duality of absolute certainty and absolute doubt. So in order to have certainty, let's have a look at the doubt and flip it in the mirror. We'll turn it over and turn the table in the temple, right? Another same allegory, but it's look how many ways it can be applied, and that is the gift for me. The gift of truth is that. So we got enough time for a tune if you guys want now to finish off tonight.
Yay!
Just enough time.
Beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
Perfect.
Good night, everybody. Love you. Blessings.
You guys.
Good night.
You rock my world, and do not forget. Stola, thank you so much. I got your text, of course. I answered you. Thank you, and I'll get a hold of Victoria, and because I know she doesn't always check her email, and she's been having some issues with her computers as well. So that I knew, her iPod or whatever. So any requests from you guys? We got enough time right now to play whatever you want, and probably get all the way through for a change.
I don't know why what popped into my head
I like
the lullaby.
Okay. Oh, okay. By a lullaby. What was that, Bendy?
I didn't say anything.
I was going to say bio lullaby.
Okay, bio it is. All right, guys. Look at that. 3:37:13. Welcome to consciousness.
Wow.
Yeah, 337. Yeah, no, just a coincidence. Look away.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys, and don't forget
love
tonight
to you all.
Love to you. We have syncretism tomorrow night. It's a bunch of you guys will hang out and we'll rock Santo's world. Hey.
Yep.
All right. Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Be good
Love
or
you.
no,
Night, you all.
be good or don't get caught. Thanks again.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
Hush now, softly, can't you hear? Mockingbird, she must be near. She sings her song, the bio lullaby. Misty morning, lazy sun, broken only by the river run. Mississippi River, take me in your arms. Take me in your arms for just another day. Floating by, I can clearly see Baton Rouge to eternity, New Orleans backwards into time. The Delta blues are more than song, broken dreams long lost and gone like a cotton field, laying falling by the wind. But that's the way it is, that's the way it is. Wouldn't want it any other way. Friendly smiles enough to say, yeah, it'll be alright, and I don't have to worry none. Friendly word on a passing way makes southern sense when I'm away, and I'm just glad I'm back where I belong. I'm back where...
Video provided by verdictproductions.com.
Of temperature. You know, where on the thermometer does hot start and cold finish, and vice versa. I've shared the analogy as well. You know, hot to someone in the Arctic is relative to where they live, as opposed to someone that lives in the middle of the Sahara Desert, where 15 degrees Celsius in the Arctic would be deemed hot to an Inuit. It would be bloody freezing and quite comfortable for someone in the Sahara, where 40 and 50 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine bringing an Inuit to that? Yeah. And we get to experience this all the time, year in, year out. Because a 15 degree Celsius day in the middle of July would be very cold, because we've been experiencing heat. But you get 15 degrees Celsius day in the middle of January, and you got some serious thaw action going on, and you're ready to put your t-shirt on, and it's beautiful and warm because you can feel the heat in the breeze that would be cold in July. So it's always relative to your perspective, where you are, how you're looking at it. And the only way you can change anything in your universe is to change your intent and change your perspective in that intent. That is it. So let's get to this little golden nugget. I'll give you an analogy just to show you how powerful this is first. Then I'll tell you what the seed is. You'll probably get it. For those of you in North America, obviously very familiar with baseball, and I'm sure all around the world, you know American baseball. All right, so I'll use this analogy. It's the bottom of the ninth inning. It's a 0-0 draw. By the way, bottom of the ninth is the last inning. Then if it stays 0-0, it goes into overtime or extra innings until someone wins. So we're at 0-0, bottom of the ninth. 2 outs. 1 more to go. And the heavy hitter comes up to the plate, who's already been struck out 4 or 5 times by this pitcher. So the pitcher is very tired at this point, but he knows he's still got it in him. The back catcher, just to go and make sure, calls a timeout and runs up to the pitcher's mound to have a chat with his pitcher, his partner, because they work in tandem, these two. Back catcher walks to the pitcher and says, "Listen, we're almost there, and you've got a perfect game right now. You've already struck this guy out 4 or 5 times today. So just remember, whatever you do, do not pitch him a low inside fastball. He'll take it out of the park." And the pitcher says, "Yeah, absolutely, okay." The back catcher leaves the pitcher, goes back to his position behind the plate. The batter's ready. Pitcher winds up to throw, and the only thing going through his mind is this: don't throw a low inside fastball. Don't throw a low inside fastball. Pitcher winds up, throws the ball. Fastball, low inside, out of the park. Game over. You see, because what the back catcher did was he planted a seed in this pitcher of what not to do. And the only thing that pitcher is going to focus on at that point now is what not to do, and it's going to be exactly what he does do. What the back catcher did was he planted the absolute perfect seed, the same one that the Vatican and the schools and the governments and churches, religion, everything, this is the very same seed that they use ad nauseum. And what they did was they planted the seed of doubt. Have you ever done something, just spontaneously? Like, toss a coin and it lands on its edge, or it spins around and it stops on its edge, or I related one story to a ninja earlier. This was back in the days of the early basement, playing in the bands and stuff, high school time, whatever. And my friend Tim had his bass on, and he was doing something. Anyway, I lit up a smoke, and he says, "Oh, could you light one up for me and toss it to me?" So I had literally just lit one, so I took it and I threw it, tossed it to him. At that time, though, he had just looked away, but he had his right hand up in the air, and the cigarette landed perfectly right between his first and second fingers, just like he normally smoked. And he didn't even realize it, and he took a puff on it, and then it hit him. It was a 5 or 6 foot throw. I just kind of... Now, try and do that. You'd probably end up doing it, but it might take you 100,000 throws to do it perfect like that, because you did it without consideration. You knew that everything was already in place, but you weren't thinking about it. That's the whole thing about creation. You don't think about creation, you just create. So I just threw it, and bam, there it was. And he took a puff, and he had to take a puff of the cigarette before he actually realized what happened.
Please note the views and opinions expressed by the hosts on this show are not necessarily the views held by the station.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now it's our turn.
You are so, and it is so. Absolutely. Yeah, welcome outside the box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, and still waiting for word from Johnny to see if we're going to be doing any, what do you call that, video stuff. Yeah, I'm going to do that maybe tonight. I haven't heard anything since he mentioned that he wanted to shift it from Monday to Thursday, so, well, whatever. Anyway, it's all good. At least Ninja got to see the new top she got me for my birthday. Gorgeous. Oh my God. I can see her nodding right now. Yeah, it is. It's very pretty. Thank you so much. It's gorgeous. And it's perfect. Purple and indigo and amethyst and gorgeous color. So there you go. We're going to have some fun. No, I mean, we're going to have some really good fun tonight. I had a little epiphany today. Well, I had this one before, but it kind of came in different ways today. And I did talk about it a little bit with Lisa on Critical Mass main show, main stage. I call it the main stage. I'm running the side stage here. Like a couple hours ago, I was on with her on her show. So thank you very much, Lisa. That was greatly appreciated. And definitely an hour is never enough for this piece. Promise. Yeah, I mean, I typically run at 3 hours. I run the clock right out most nights. Last night I was just hit the wall and really didn't give myself a chance to recharge over the last. Well, I would never generally give myself a chance to recharge, but yeah, feel a whole lot better today. And of course, as soon as you clear your space, then the whispers of the wind get really, really, really loud. So, first thing I saw when I got to the computer this morning, and it was so very, very fitting in so many, many ways. I have to thank Bruce. I know who it is. His name's not Bruce. He's a good friend of mine. But anyway, he posted a link in the room and to me direct, and it was for the movie Olympus Has Fallen. And for those of you that walking this road for any length of time with us, you'll know exactly what that is saying. As soon as I see it, I know exactly what it's saying. And of course, the premise of this movie, which I did watch, that was my downtime. And that's the thing. I take downtime, and all I'm doing is looking for. I got to find something else, and that way I can share it in the show. And I put myself under a lot of pressure to keep bringing every single night new stuff. And tonight we're gonna have a little bit of fun. And I really do love it when you guys jump in. It's like this. Anyone that jumps in is technically and literally an interviewer. Because I always prefer to be interviewed. For me, there's more purpose to it because I'm serving in that way on a grander, concept than hosting, and I've done that for many years. So and I'm not just talking radio. I've done it most of my life, either hosting venues or fronting bands and what have you. So always the consummate host and forced to jabber and yabber on microphones that I really don't want to actually be talking on. It's very counter me as far as personality goes. I just assume, like I said, sitting back and observe and toss a tuppence in here and there and whatever. Allow people to grow into their own power. And obviously, the universe has trained me well to do what I do now. And that's all I see it as now. Here I am, the unwilling participant in terms of front row center, which is the perfect mirror. One of these days, we'll all get to hang out and in person, and you get a better handle on me, the real me. Not like I'm fake or anything. I'm a different zone when I'm not having to do this kind of stuff. But that's okay, I do this because, well, I can. I don't have to do it. I'm balanced out with I want to do it and I don't want to do it. I don't have to do it. I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. I do it because I can. And I see a greater need. As much as I see the need within, I see the need without, you see. So that's my mirror. So obviously, if I feel the need to learn, then obviously you guys, you beautiful tuned-in beings, also are feeling that same energy. So we all hang out, show up here. But today's Magic Epiphany, this is a good one. I think you're really going to like this. It's going to help you along with the present concept. You see, that's the thing too. The universe walks us down the path. We just have to be willing participants to walk, and for many of us, myself included, taking that. So there you go. There's another little bit of a duality to look at how saving someone else is pure evil, because you're harming yourself and them. And saving someone else that wants to save themselves is good, because they want to help themselves, which means they want to help you. That's how consciousness works. You either create or you're a parasitic vampire, taking from creation without putting anything in. And it's not, see, here's where we need to get out of the physical as well. because you know what it's like. You help friends move or whatever, and there's always one lazy bastard in the group that, you know, picks up the lampshade and just carries that while, you know, you and a couple others are, you know, hauling ass with the beds and the couches and the fridges and the stoves. And they're real helpful because they go out and get the box of towels. You know, these are the ones that don't even break out in the sweat. But you point a finger at them, they'll be like, "What do you mean I'm helping?" Right? Yeah, but are you? Yeah, you are in a very, very small way. But it's not everyone that have the ability to, you know, pick up an end of a couch. They'd rather pick up the lampshade in one hand and the lamp in the other, and take their time to get that in. Yeah, they're helping at their level. So we have to choose whether or not we're going to be the ones hauling ass with the stove and the fridge and whatever. Because that's the thing about me, you know, especially with having the truck. The one they stole, yeah, that one, yeah. and I find it quite funny, by the way, guys. Seriously, it's crazy. But you see, now I don't have to help people move anymore, because as soon as I got a truck, I was everyone's new best friend. You know, oh, can you do a dump run? Oh, can you bring this over? Oh, I need this picked up at the store. Oh, can you do that? Yeah. And of course I would. That was just my nature. And I still would. You know, I like chipping in. And I don't see it as being used or abused. I just see it as I have an ability, and that's the different intent that I have with it. I have an ability to help, and if people seek it, then, you know, there's a free will contract there. And there have been times where I couldn't do it and didn't. So, you know, as available, I was there. So let's get into the little epiphany aspect here. First thing this morning, in the now, oh, and by the way, I did the card split. Waylon didn't pop up for me, but lo and behold, it jumped out of the deck for someone else. I didn't quite jump all the way out, but I thought it was quite funny. So Waylon's still hanging out. Isn't that funny? But when I cracked the computer open, that post was there, and actually, it might have been, I was checking email or something, but I know when I checked my Skype, that was the first thing I saw. Olympus has fallen. And yeah, absolutely. And you start looking at the allegorical references as to what Olympus is, what it represents. And I'll bring a few things in just to show you what pops into my universe when I see something as simple as Olympus. I automatically go to Prometheus, who's chained allegorically to the mountain for giving man Promethean fire, which was the ability to think, right, independently. The fire is the tree of knowledge, good and evil, and of life as well. That's why Zeus got really, really pissed off, chained him to the mountain for eternity, where an eagle would come and at his liver and eat it every day, only to have Prometheus heal overnight and repeat the same process over and over. Yeah, that's a benevolent God, isn't it? How dare you give man the right to be as powerful as me? Yeah, that's, well, ye are gods, right? God is like ye are gods. All the cool cats used to say that. It's kind of funny, that, isn't it? And then you've heard me talk about ancient Egypt. And of course, I've covered the Kabbalion. I've done it on webinars. I've talked about it in great length with a great many people for the good that it has in it. A few things, as far as I can tell, were missing, and we're piecing those things together as well. But the thing that can set you free is always the thing that traps you. Same thing with the birth certificate. That which enslaved us is the only thing that can set us free, once you realize what it is and what the intentions were behind it. The poison is always the cure, and the cure is always the poison. The up is always down, and the down is always up. You know, if you've got someone halfway up a mountain and you've got someone standing at the top of the mountain, who is higher up? Well, it'll be the plane flying overhead, but I didn't mention that to you because that wasn't in your reality until I mentioned it. And then, of course, there's a satellite above that, and other universes, and what have you, right? So it's all based on perspective, how you're looking at it, and where you are in that perspective. Now, the guy that's halfway up the mountain, he's halfway up to him, and of course, to someone in the valley, the guy's halfway up. But the guy standing at the top of the mountain is looking, and he sees him as halfway down. So you see how up is down and down is up? Just like hot and cold are increments of infinite incremental. You're trespassing on the free will choice for those that wish to be ignorant, to remain ignorant. And also, if you go out of your way and help someone that has always been reaching out for help all the time, and it's not because they need help, it's because they need a servant. They're playing the low-level master-slave. Mirror, mirror, it works both ways here. And the more we talk about this stuff, the more you'll start to see the good and evil in everything. Because seriously, someone coming to you and saying, "Oh, well, save me, help me, I need this, I need that." And if you go ahead and do it, yeah, of course, that's the nature of creation, the nature of being benevolent is to help others. But there's also the trap in that as well. Because if you're helping someone that has spent a lifetime, perhaps, and I've met many of them, literally parasiting off others with that whole, and it's a victim mentality, it's a very low-level ego program. This individual, or any individual that does this, is not confronting their own basic survival. They're relying on a savior outside of themselves. And if you become that savior, which I've been many, many times, you will get crucified. And by the very individual you help, no less. That one I promise you. I've lived that one my whole life. That was going to the whole rescue diver thing, right? So, on the other side of that coin, because it is a coin, two sides of it, you have others like yourselves that are willfully making an effort to seek knowledge instead of willfully seeking ignorance. That's what most people seek. They willfully seek the bliss of ignorance. They'd rather let someone else take care of it for them. They'll just care about their tiny little, myopic universe that, me, all about serving me, in the complete opposite way of how they should be serving themselves. Because when you truly serve yourself properly, you are actually saving yourself. You're clearing out the garbage. You're sorting out your own boat. Now here's the thing. There's another analogy. We're all doing this. Here we are out. Imagine we're trying to pick up survivors in the water, and we've got our lifeboat that's ram-jam full of all the, the garbage that we've collected, the clutter in our lives. And we got, we're allegorically carrying that with us. That's the packed camel, as it were. That's the 1 gigabyte RAM, which is what I've got, using 995 megabytes of it. So there's not a whole lot there to work with, right? So you got to scrape all that clean. So you're rolling around in this boat that's got room for 30 people, yet there's only enough room for you and maybe half of a survivor, because you're carrying all this garbage. Let's say you row that boat into a group of 10 people. It won't take long for that boat to get swamped, and you go down with it. So best, if you want to truly be the rescuer, you've got to get rid of that stuff out of the boat. So if it's a boat for 30 people and a group of 10 rush it, no problem. You've got room for them. And of course, there's oars for each one of them. And this is the way I work. Those that pick up an oar to help row to save others stay in the boat. And those that, find a deck chair and a pina colada and open that up and sit back with their one hand dangling in the water will find themselves back in the water very quickly. I'll throw them overboard. Because obviously they didn't get it the first time. And I'm not going to be guilty of aiding and abetting in someone else's failures, because that's what you're doing. You're harming the individual that cannot save themselves. You're not giving them the motivation to stand on their own 2 feet. And when you do that, you've interfered with a lesson. And you'll get one for it. You'll get a lesson all your own. And, you know, if you've done it as many times as I have, you start seeing the rerun of Gilligan's Island over and over, and you go, I'm done with that channel. Click. And while that might sound cruel, and, you know, you're going to throw someone back, you're damn straight I'm going to throw them back in the water. Because they're just dead weight. They don't want to help. They're not. Listen, if they're not willing to help themselves, i.e. by rowing the boat with the rest of us, then they're certainly not going to be helping the rest of us because they're not rowing. What they're going to be is another consumerian, consuming the precious water supplies, the precious food supplies that we're all needing to get to shore. And those that have the oars in their hands are the ones that are being very careful with the rations to make sure that we all get equal, because we're all equally important. And typically, if you keep one of the loungers on board, if they're not rowing, they're probably sitting there just, you know, sucking back the water and chewing on the food supplies because, you know, they're bored. There's your lazy boy Doritos scenario, right? Oh, they're quite happy to be, you know, served. I'm always wary of people that, you know, that one of the first things out of their face is, I'm a slave to no one. And I said, oh, okay, so what you're telling me is you want everyone else to be your slave. Okay, I get that. Fair enough. And I've heard that many times. So now I listen. That initial step into unknown territory, well, it has the unknown, right? Yeah, that, you see, fear can only exist in unknowns. It can't exist in all-knowing. So that is the defining factor here. And that's why that's the only tool that gets used against us in terms of controlling us. But I also thought, how do you instill that seed? How do you plant that seed in people? And I've been talking a lot about trust lately and how badly we trust ourselves. We've been so conditioned into groupthink and, you know, really, anyway, groupthink to get away from the peer pressure. We don't like feeling the pressure of being outside, you know, the group, if you will. This is a very standard program. That's why they have you in classrooms and schools, and, you know, when you put your hand up and get, you know, singled out to answer a question, it doesn't always feel good when you don't get the right, you know, the answer they're looking for. There's no such thing as a right or wrong answer. Now, I can illustrate that in a joke very easily. It just depends on how you're looking at it and how you're thinking, right? So, what did they do? What did they do? What did they do? And when I say they, I'm including us in that too. Don't separate yourself from the rest of the consciousness, because that's a duality as well. So when you look at all these, you know, darker reflections of our own consciousness, ourself, remember that you are attacking yourself. That's why you need to love thine enemies, love thine no vengeance. Because when you go outside of yourself to seek that vengeance, you're only bringing it upon yourself. And this is where the golden rule comes into play. It's the only rule in the cause and effect game. If you cause someone pain, then you agree to have someone cause that same pain to you. You know, what you sow, so shall you reap. This is how this works, and that's the free will choice. How do you want to experience this? Do you want to experience it with lots of pain, or do you want to experience it with a lot more bliss? Now, there's a lot of dualities going on in dualities here. I was talking about catch-22. And before we get to the actual little trigger word that I'm going to get you guys to ponder. Where was I going? That's the problem with downloads. I stopped and then it just stopped. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. Before I get to talking about this little seed that got planted in us to destroy our own trust within ourselves, the other concept I wanted to bring up again about the dualities is the catch-22. Because when you finally decide to not only learn a truth, and you know when you have one, you get that little giggle, ha-ha moment. Then you are faced with a very, very real choice, a very real reality choice. Because if you know something to be true and you deny it or don't step into it, you get to wear the effects of that denial. And you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, remember? And if you do choose to stand in the truth, it is a spiritual truth, you're going to have pretty much the same effect anyway. But there's a difference. The universe is on your side when you stand on the truth, and you become proof. I mean that quite literally. You fall off the proverbial meat stick radar. Because what you've done, when you decide to stand in the truth, what universe will start putting into place is stripping away all those things that you need stripped away from you to clear your RAM. Those things that are distracting you, be it friends, be it family, be it possessions, be it whatever it is. The universe will strip it away from you to free you of it. These are your bonds. These are your stocks and bonds. These are the things that you have allowed to possess you. You see, this is the thing about, when you buy a house, for example. No such thing, but let's just talk in common speak. Stuff that we've been used to for so many years to get this contrast out. When you buy a home, there's that, the pride of home ownership. And as far as I remember, that kind of pride is a vice, right? And then you get very possessive of it because, although you're still a renter, there's no such thing as a homeowner. The only thing you're doing is, puffing up your chest a bit more than somebody else, and you get to pay more bills because you're the quote owner unquote of the liability. But you get a lot of pride and what have you, and that becomes a possession. We talk about being possessed of demons. Well, the demons in the material sense are the physical possessions that we ultimately get possessed by. I know, I've been there. They had to steal my house from me. So I'm speaking from experience here. Family, everything. The universe just went, okay, Kate, no problem. You're standing in the truth, babe. I'm going to rip all the stuff away from you so that you can run forward instead of, walk forward. Because the fundamental truth, and something we covered in Lisa's show, the fundamental truth here is, if you're trying to save outside, you're actually trespassing on the golden rule.